This right. Looks like it. We're back. We're live. Episode 33. Mancave of Doom.
It's only been 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Took summer break.
We did take a summer break.
So this is this season 3 now?
This is, well, I don't know. I kind of stopped it with the last season and just started. This is episode 33. How about that?
We're actually almost 2 years into this.
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
We were like every week during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, we were all
because we were all fucking home, and now Greeno and I plan to do one, and something comes up. Like the one time I lost power here because we got a thunderstorm.
Yeah,
that was about 3 weeks ago. That was the last time we were planning.
It's constant.
I just look at it, kind of like the way I listen to Kiss. Sometimes I just go for broke, man. I get in a groove and I'm just spinning Kiss, for like a couple months straight, and then I'm done. It's like, once every 4 or 5 months I'll throw one.
That's so fucking weird that you just said that. I spent yesterday, dude. I was telling Greeno before we got on before the show. Yesterday and today, I was off, and then I work every day until almost 2 straight weeks. So yesterday I was watching old Kiss videos on YouTube that I haven't seen in like 6 or 7 years. I mean, I went through like the Peter Chris Imposter thing on Donahue, and I went through like the Australian stuff when Ace is drunk on the bridge, and dude, it's just weird that you.
Dude, that is one band that you can rabbit hole YouTube with for days. Just
I'm surprised with Kiss with the way they like to make money. And I know that there were those like DVD sets that they put out years ago where they had various live shows from the 70s, but I don't know why they haven't sort of cashed in on that more. Like, just release like a show from multiple shows from every tour in the 70s. It seems like there's not really that much live 70s stuff put out by the band, which really surprises me because I think that it would sell really well.
I've been begging every old band to do that. To be quite honest,
AC/DC,
I don't care if you put out another new album. I'm at that point. I don't care. So go into your vault and just start putting the good shit out, man.
Check this out. I just stumbled upon this. So on eBay right now, I think it's still up there. I saw it maybe day before yesterday. We've all seen Heavy Metal Basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Judas Priest collector, right? Okay. So I don't know if you remember, but there's a part in that video where he takes you into a room and he's got boxes and boxes and boxes of VHS tapes, right? Of old metal shows. There's a guy on eBay right now that has, I can't remember how many, 200 plus VHS tapes of rare home recorded metal shows. And it just made me think, it's like, man, can you imagine? It's there. It's all there. You need to just, transfer it to DVD or something.
Digitize it.
Or digitize it.
Most of that stuff's on YouTube now because I was in that circuit in the 90s, the gold mine bootleg VHS.
Yeah.
I had close to 500 VHSs at one point.
Wow.
Of bootleg stuff. And then I started kind of weeding it out, and then I noticed all the shit's on YouTube now. Probably 80% of what I had was on YouTube. It's like,
you think that much of it's on there now?
Yeah, there's a ton of it, man. I mean, it comes and goes. I don't know, it's all still there, but
you'd be surprised though. Every now and then somebody will come out of nowhere. There was that guy that posted a very clean video. He must have been his title on YouTube was something like Fresno Media or something like that, and he had a Van Halen from like 78, I think, or something like that, 79, like one of their first big tours. I mean, and this must be his stuff because it looks first generation. And Van Halen fans, their heads were just exploding because no one even knew that this existed. And this guy must have had some connection to this arena in Fresno, California, or wherever this guy was from, because he put up he has a bunch of audio boots, but he also put up a bunch of video boots. And some of them are only maybe 10 or 20 minutes long, stuff like Cheap Trick. And I mean, the Van Halen one was really the big one. But I mean, this was, I think, in the last like year or two, this guy just came out of nowhere, drops this Van Halen first generation shot, and it's not even like some shaky camera shot. He must have worked in the place, because it looks like he's got it on a tripod. He's, it's a steady cam shot of the whole stage. Sounds great, looks great, and it just came out of nowhere. So it always makes you wonder, like, who out there, for us Ozzy fans, Randy Rhoads fans, everybody's just hoping that somewhere there's somebody that has something with Randy Rhoads that's like an entire show just sitting there, and they don't realize that they have it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely still some crumbs of excellent rare stuff that's still hiding in boxes somewhere. There's got to be.
That scene got so crazy towards the beginning of YouTube and all that. By the time I got done trading VHSs, I remember getting boot shows in that were like 3, sometimes 4 video positions, and they were editing all this stuff. It was like, wow, these guys are like, they're up in their games, man. I remember having like a Misfits that was whatever torn at the time or whatever, and it was like 3 different cameras. It was just nuts.
Wow.
So, all right, well, that's our first rabbit hole. Everybody, welcome to the man cave of doom. So we got Laz tonight, and the Alchemist, John, his first time on the show. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
And looks like we got all the usual knuckleheads. Aaron's in here. Vance is in here. Who made
Mr. Bizarre already brought up ZZ Top.
That didn't take long.
First and foremost, rest in peace, Dusty Hill.
Yeah.
That was a bummer, man.
And today they announced Norm Macdonald died. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we got Eric Bauer. Everybody's in here.
Yeah, Dusty, that was a complete left field to me when I saw that.
I noticed he started looking a little thin the last year or so when they start. Well, I guess pre-pandemic.
Both those guys have been looking really.
Billy's looking real thin the last 20 years, man. Because there was rumors going around that he had AIDS like 20, 25 years ago. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Nah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
How old is Billy Gibbons? He's got to be, in his mid-70s or something?
I would say early to mid, yeah. I would think. But yeah, then they have, I think on YouTube, like we were just talking about, they have the whole concert, Dusty Hill's last concert on there, and he was sitting the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
So, real quick, if I can ask a question here, because I'm definitely curious. So, John, you just saw Priest in Florida, and so health-wise, how were they looking? And
it was tough to tell because I was pretty far back, and they had a big screen thing behind them, but they were mostly using it to project images, not of the band, like, movie images and stuff like that. They didn't really have the camera on the band a lot. That was one sort of critique I had of the show, was that sometimes the screen would go black for a while. And I thought, why don't they just leave it on and give you more close-ups of the band? I mean, there were times where it did sort of pan on Rob, and it's tough to tell with the beard. I mean, the beard makes him look older and everything, but the rest of the guys, Andy Sneap and Richie Faulkner, I don't know how old Andy Sneap is, but I don't think he's that old. Richie is young. Scott Travis, they never really put the camera on him. They never really put the camera on Ian Hill either. So it's really just, you saw Rob every now and then, and it was tough to tell. His beard, was covering his face. He had his hat on a lot of times. He was, leaving the stage, but he's certainly not, he's not moving a whole lot. I mean, he just sort of walks out, he sings, he does sort of move around a little bit and get his hand in there. When he's not singing, he sort of drops to the back and would leave the stage every now and then. But I mean, as far as his voice, I saw a video of like the first night of the tour. I got a little scared. I was like, he just sounded tired to me. And I thought, whoa, this is like the first night of the tour, and he kind of sounds tired already. But maybe it just takes Rob a couple shows to warm up and get into it. I mean, when they did Victim of Changes, and there's that stop at the end when he just goes, yeah, I mean, he held that note out for like 30, 45 seconds. It was like a laser beam or a missile shooting off of the stage. It was just like, it just filled the whole like air. It was just absolutely incredible. So he had, you know, there were times where he was ducking in and out of notes. Maybe a line he would normally go up on, he sort of stayed lower. But then there were other times, like in Victim of Changes or in Touch of Evil, you're possessing me. That spot where the band drops and he was just exploding out of the speakers. So I thought he sounded really, really, really strong. And I mean, at this point, for him to pull off, gosh, I mean, again, they were doing stuff from the 70s, the 80s, Painkiller. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And
there was no Glenn at all this time, right?
No, yeah, it's just, and what was interesting is I commented on this in my video, that the last time I saw them, Glenn was there. So of course, Richie Faulkner was playing KK's parts, but this time Richie took the majority of what would have been Glenn's solos. I think there were a few times where Andy took a few of them, but it was mostly Richie Faulkner playing the majority of the solos. So I thought that was, you know, I didn't know how they were going to handle that, but it's sort of like they flipped it around now, where Richie is sort of playing Glenn's parts and Andy Sneap, who's on Glenn's side of the stage, is playing more of KK's parts.
Now, Rob's kind of slowed down the last 10 years or so. It seems like last time we saw him, I thought he was just kind of walking around.
He's got that kind of hunch back.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
He does that thing a lot where he's sort of rocking back and forth, just kind of hunched over in one spot. And,
I mean, he's always sounded good. Yeah. But, man, all those guys, you know, him and Bruce Dickinson, just all those guys back in the day, they're still touring. Dio was the one that impressed me the most.
All the time.
Before he passed. He was like, it was like spot on.
Yeah.
It was the 80s.
I challenge it. I always put this out to people when people, you know, will get into this thing about Ozzy, and, you know, Ozzy is pretty hit or miss live. And I always tell people, I challenge you to go on YouTube and find a clip of Ronnie James Dio where he sounds terrible. I challenge you. Now, don't get confused that, of course, if you hear Ronnie, you know, towards the end of his life, the tone of his voice changed a little bit. You know, the tone changed. He still hit all the notes. He's never out of tune. His voice is never like cracking and like breaking up and completely missing. You'll never find a Dio performance like that. Whereas with Ozzy, you know, if you look around on YouTube, Ozzy's really hit or miss. He's either on or he's completely off. But with Dio, I mean, you can't find a really bad performance from Dio.
Ozzy's, to me, has always been like in the David Lee Roth category. He's a performer. He's there to entertain you more so than be spot on perfect. You know, like David Lee Roth live. Sometimes good, sometimes a train wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's always a fun train wreck. It doesn't matter.
The thing with guys like that, they're like Ozzy and David Lee Roth, is they're not the most technical singers, but both of those guys have very distinct original voices.
Oh yeah.
So they survive on that, and they will give that whole band the band sound just from that unique voice. Yeah. You know, nobody sounds like Ozzy. No one. You know, and even David Lee Roth, I think. Who was it that was? I was just watching. Oh, I was just watching your video, John, with your favorite singers.
Right? Yeah, I did the polls on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and you were talking about David Lee Roth, how he kind of gets bad-mouthed about being not a good singer, when actually, if you listen to him, especially, you know, the first couple albums, he actually really is a good singer. It's just the style that he's singing, you know?
Yeah, and I think he gets a bad rap for when you hear clips of him live. You get the impression that Dave's a little more invested in his spin kicks and his karate chops. And, you know, if he misses coming in on time or something, you know, and you watch these videos, it wasn't for Michael Anthony, you know, half the time it's like Dave is just up there like, woo, Unchained.
Yeah.
Woo! You know, just
Michael Anthony. Michael Anthony was the untapped vocal potential in that band, man.
Oh yeah, he's a huge part of the Van
Yeah.
Halen sound. Those harmonies in the background, running with the devil, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all. That high voice you always hear in the harmonies, that's Michael Anthony.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, let's kind of jump in. Everybody, or you have anything to show? You picked up new, or what you've been listening to, and
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead and start, Les.
Well, this time actually, I just grabbed a couple that I just actually posted on Facebook because every time I've been on this show, I always have some big giant stack, and I thought I'm going to be nice this time and not do that. So these were actually just a few that I was on a lunch break the other day, and something told me, "I'll pop into the record store," and so I did, and it was like, "Oh man, I got to follow that voice when it tells me to do that," because I scored these 3 little classic gems. And so this is the Onslaught Shell Shock 12-inch single EP thing. And this is the Steve Grimmett Onslaught.
I like that record, In Search of Sanity.
Yeah. Which actually, you know what? That record has gotten better with age, man.
Yep.
In my opinion. But so nice little gold stamp promo there. This one I was stoked to get because I used to have this and I love this album, or this EP. Trial by Fire. So that was there. And then super stoked to get this again.
Nice.
Heathen on Music Nations.
That's a classic. Stone
Dude,
Cold.
this is still, like I said on Facebook, this is still, in my opinion, one of the best thrash metal albums ever pressed. And then newer piece, I've been spinning this actually quite a bit, and I keep thinking I'm going to put it back away, and I don't. I keep putting it back on the damn turntable. But this is BOC's Heaven Forbid.
Is that the newer one, or I haven't kept up with them?
Yeah, this was the second to last, I want to say.
That is, yeah, that's three albums ago for Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, so not the Mirror. What was it?
Curse of the Hidden Mirror.
Curse of the Hidden Mirror was
2 ago.
Right.
The newest one is called
The Symbol Remains.
Symbol Remains. The one before that was Curse of the Hidden Mirror, and then
Yes.
and then that one.
But yeah, this album. I kind of overlooked this when it came out, especially because it was only a CD release, and other than visiting it here and there, kind of on YouTube or online, man, this is a pretty damn good album.
It's pretty heavy too, actually.
Yes, it is, and this is a damn good album. So,
where did you get those from?
This was Amazon.
Oh, really? They're on it because you can only get that as like an import for.
It is. It came from Amazon UK.
Okay.
But as a Prime member, it's you just have to wait the time. I think it took maybe almost a month to get here, but it came in.
Nice.
I think it's still on there. But so those are the new pieces I grabbed.
Right.
Cool.
About you, John?
All right. Well, speaking of Amazon UK, I had never ordered anything from them before, and I ordered this. It's called Horse for Twisted Minds Only. I'm a big fan of like proto metal, heavy 70s, and this was actually put out on Rise Above Records. They have a different branch of their label called Rise Above Relics. So this is like a heavy 70s band. This album came out in 1970.
Is that Cliff Williams on
No,
it?
that band was called
I thought that was Horse, no?
The name of the album has Horse in the title, but the name of the band I think
I can't remember now.
I know what you mean because I thought the same thing when I was first looking at it.
War Horse?
No, I'll have to look it up because I know.
I gotta look right now.
But it came with this awesome booklet. It's a real kind of dark, heavy, heavy 70s. I mean, 1970. It's really heavy for 1970. But I got to tell you, something really strange that happened when I got this.
Home.
It had a hype sticker. I thought it was on the shrink wrap, and it was a big, huge hype sticker, like right there.
Right over the
and
horse head?
And I took the shrink wrap off, and I was like, it's on the album.
Mm-hmm.
This big, huge hype sticker. And luckily, you know how sometimes when you're peeling a sticker off, like it's either going to come off like no problem, or it just starts like ripping. Thank goodness I just got it, and it just came right off and didn't leave any mark. But I was like, come on, what a like terrible thing to do. And I used Amazon UK, and I got this like 5 days later. It was under a week. I don't know how that was possible, and it wasn't that expensive. The shipping was reasonable. All right, like I said, I'm also into heavy. I'm into like discovering heavy 70s.
By the way, the Cliff Williams band was Home.
Home, that's it. And isn't Horse in the name of the album?
I don't know. I just looked up Cliff Williams Wikipedia real quick.
Yeah. Randy Holden, Population 2. Some people call this the first doom metal album. This came out in 70, I believe. Randy Holden played on one Blue Cheer album. Now See This or something. I forget what the name of the Blue Cheer album is. But it's a pretty primitive record, but it's got heavy. It's got really like sludgy riffing. It's just loud, thick, heavy guitar. Think like kind of Blue Cheer, but much slower. There's a song on here called Fruit and Icebergs that just like it's like a stoner doom metal song. It's really crazy, and it's 1970. I mean, this is a reissue, of course, but it's like an official reissue, and so the sound quality of it is really good.
Nice.
And then I finally got my copy of
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. It finally came in just today, actually.
Nice.
I missed out on it on Amazon at first. It was out of stock for a little bit, and then it showed up. So I haven't really spun it. I've got the sleeves up there above me.
Right on.
I guess
real quick before you guys go, but since I had this sitting here, and John, you were talking about, have you listened to this at all?
Spell no.
Jammer.
Yeah, dude, this is kind of up your alley of what you're talking about.
Okay.
So check this out, Spelljammer. I think this is the
What,
first
70s?
album.
Is that 70s?
Yeah, it's like a heavy 70s sludgy kind of doomy. I don't know. You just check it out.
But it's newer. It's not.
Yeah, this is 2015.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So kind of like Sleep, I guess, is compare it to.
Cool.
So, anyway.
Somebody just commented, pause for a horse. That was the name of the Home album that Cliff Williams was on. So
nice. Greena, do you want to tell everybody what we got our Maiden for?
Oh yeah, you guys had that little glitch in the Matrix that you took advantage of.
It's our second time for a Maiden album.
Yeah, my phone was blowing up that day, man. Everybody. But you ended up getting one too, Laz, right? From Steve?
Yeah, I think Steve, it hasn't come in yet, but yeah, Steve said he grabbed me one. So
Cool.
Steve Harris?
No, Steve Bodine. But that should give me, when I get that should give me, I think, every release of this record. So,
Wow.
Maiden.
But Maiden. So
For
Do you open them up, or do you open up one of them and leave the other sealed?
I open them some bitches.
Yeah,
I open them all. Unless I end up with if I end up, and there's a few bands where I've got multiple copies of some albums, and I'll leave one sealed. But if it's the only one I got, even if it's just a different color, I'll open that mother up.
yeah, I open them all now.
Yeah.
I used to be one to keep them sealed, but fuck it.
Only if it's a duplicate, so I can, if someone needs it and I can trade it off later or something like that, But,
I hate sealed records, man. If I run across something old and sealed, half the time it's got to be something really good to pick it up.
Yeah,
because I'm always like, this some bitch gonna be warped and everything else.
You're playing with fire.
Yeah. What do you got, George?
Well, I obviously got the Maiden as well. I didn't open mine yet. I just listened to the first disc of the two. Dude, I wish these bands would stop putting fucking 2-disc albums out. But it was the first disc I thought was really good. I don't know what you guys thought, but I picked up this Pure Hell. Let me go big here.
I got that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, from Philly. I didn't know this was out. Then I hit some.
What is that?
They were like kind of pre-Bad Brains, but Philly hardcore punk kind of thing. Not super hardcore, more punk than hardcore, I would think. I would say. I mean,
you ever hear that band called Death, George?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This is
kind of like that.
It's more. I don't know, Greeno. What do you think? It's. I don't think it's more like Death. I think it's more.
It's like a hard rock with punk.
Yeah.
It's not as kind of Death is pretty hard rock medley kind of.
What Beat Generation Records or something?
Yeah, that popped up somewhere and it was like, man, that looks really freaking interesting. I never heard of
it. It looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can get it on Get Hip.
Okay.
I think is the website.
I mean, it's definitely worth checking out, even if you just check it out on YouTube or something.
And I picked this up. This was like a blind buy online. This band Hitter. Hard Enough. I think they're from Chicago. Kind of. I don't want to say AC/DC hard rock female vocalist, but kind of in that vein.
That looks pretty cool.
9-song debut LP.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hitter.
Just on appearance, man. Stuff like that can just be like diamond in the rough, you know?
Yeah. I really like this. It was cheap. I think this was on one of our websites, man.
Mr. Bizarro says shitter.
Shitter, I know. I picked up I think this is the latest Haunt.
Oh, that's cool. Man, that band's just pumping shit out.
Actually, that's the second to last.
Okay. I'm way behind on these guys anyway. And I went on. Oh, I got this with the Hitter. That's what I got. So I got this at Shadow Kingdom.
Nice.
Shadow Kingdom has that deal like if you go more than $48 or something, it's free shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I picked up these two from them and a couple magazines. I picked up the last issue of that Chips and Beer magazine.
Yeah. Which,
Greeno, I don't know if you have that or not.
I haven't got one of those forever.
But this is the last issue they did. And it's 5 years old now. No. But dude, it covers every 70s hard rock female act in it.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So it's got like the Runaways, what's her name? Susie Quattro. There's an interview with Leather from that band Chastain.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole magazine's like that.
Wow, I have to look into that. That sounds cool.
Like shit, like dude, I don't know who that. Girl School. But it's just this one. Like I don't remember them covering metal and hard rock like that. Maybe they did. I just haven't seen one in 10 years.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird magazine if I remember right.
Yeah. And I picked up the Sabotage Sirens reissue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just got the black one because the blue one, we were talking about this before. The blue one was ridiculously expensive. Go
ahead.
My cost through the shop for the blue one was $38.
Dude,
just for my cost. So
dude, Amazon had the blue one, $17.
Why didn't we get emails?
Yeah, you know what happened? I think they got that one mixed up with the Metal Blade reissues.
So it was on it. In fact, I think it's still on there, but it's not 17 anymore. But it shows the picture of the second cover. You know, the black cover with the girls in the cave kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what they showed as the image. And it was $17. And when I got it, it doesn't even say whether it's black or blue or anything. It's just Sirens, you know, reissue, whatever. And so turned out to be the blue one.
Wow.
With the original cover.
I like to grab one of those, but man, I can't believe the prices on them. Even the black ones. It's like, because I have an original, but it's like, I'd kind of like to have a reissue, not to play the original. And it's like, I don't think I'm paying that.
And then I got.
You didn't pick up the reissue?
Yeah.
I got you, brother.
I mean, I would like to, but prices are just getting out of control.
I got you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Then the last one I got is the brand new Wildhearts record, of course.
Yeah.
Right on.
21st Century Love Songs. I fucking love this record. I think I like this album more than the last album, which is today is crazy to say in this day and age, but Ginger just keeps writing amazing shit. There's some heavy stuff on here. I don't know, man. Everybody's like Cheap Trick meets Motorhead meets Slayer on this record. It's crazy.
They change so much every album, man. You know.
Yeah, and this one's made to look like an old VHS case.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know if you can see that. And obviously it's made to look like an old horror poster.
Cool.
Really killer record. And that's not the only time they did that movie poster cover. They did one called
Wildhearts Must Be Destroyed.
Yeah, It Must Be Destroyed. That had that same vibe to it.
Yeah, I love that album. That's my favorite one.
There it is. Like another cartoon one.
Yeah, it looks like a biker.
Or a movie theater or a movie poster. So
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, they change every fucking record. The last album and this album's pretty good albums to put together. You know what I mean?
You know, speaking of the magazine thing,
Mhm.
have either of you guys picked this up off of Hell's Headbangers?
Yeah, I grabbed that. That's
Nah.
killer, man. It's so fun.
Dude, isn't it? It's so,
So 80s.
yes, absolute fanzine style of thing. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to get concerned because this is issue 1, first issue, May of 2021. And it's like, dude, we are getting ready to hit October. Like, is it a one and done thing? Or,
Probably.
I
Well, it
really
wasn't
like
like
to see some more of
it
this.
was only like $5, right? $7.
Yeah, it was I think like $6.
Yeah.
Where was that? Hell's Headbangers? I'll have to check to see if they still
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
all the newer, new wave of traditional metal
Oh,
bands.
cool.
and it has some
Oh,
good
wow.
stuff.
Awesome.
Dude, I missed. That's one thing I hate about the fucking internet is no more fanzines or local. I mean, we used to have a paper around here called Out on the Town.
Yeah, I
I
remember
think
that.
that's what
Yeah.
it was called. And that was just like every fucking band imaginable was in that. Either doing an ad for their shows or advertising a new release or a demo or whatever.
Remember East Coast Rocker? I
Oh,
don't
that
know if
was
that's
another. I had a
still around.
subscription to that.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
still around?
No, that changed to the Aquarian.
Oh,
in,
that's
like,
right.
the-
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
late 80s maybe.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where obviously it probably either went strictly online or it's gone.
Yeah, I used to love getting that just to see bands advertising their shows, clubs advertising, and in the back there was always like looking for musicians,
Yeah.
and you could see all the bands, in sort of that tri-state area. That was really cool.
Well,
Yeah,
the first
we had the Maryland musician. It's
Oh,
same
yeah.
kind of deal, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
they could just total all the bars and nightclubs, all everybody coming and interviews with bands, and it
Yeah,
was all local stuff, it's killer.
there's
I think
West
Most
Co-
places have those, right? What is that? BAM, Bay Area Music or whatever? That
Yeah.
was a legendary one.
PA Musician magazine too.
Yeah,
I think
Western
that's still.
PA.
I think that one's still around in some form or another.
It's
but,
a lot smaller now, but I
Yeah.
think I've seen one maybe 6
Look at
months
Vance's
ago.
comment.
What's that? What'd you say?
He watches his stream, makes him spend money. That yeah. I forgot. Dude, we haven't done this in so fucking long. I forgot I could show this shit.
Speaking of Vance, I'll go ahead and show mine if you're done, George.
Yep.
Vance hooked me up with this. I didn't even know it was coming out. And this goes right in there where you were talking about John, putting out some of the old live stuff and stuff in the vault. This is probably my favorite release of this year. This is freaking massive, man.
That's great.
How this
I love
show,
that fucking record.
how this show hasn't been released before. I mean, this is perfect. It sounds fucking perfect, man. 1980.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick this up, John?
Yeah, and you know what it made me realize? It made me realize, and I sing Mutt Lange's praises often, but it really made me realize how Mutt Lange sucked the life out of that band.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are just smoking on that live show, and it is great quality. It's amazing, like you just said, that they sat on it for so long. Apparently, it was released in some kind of box set, like a CD box set at one point, and then this was a record store day release, I believe. But man, it's real easy to forget because of where Def Leppard went, like maybe Hysteria and on, that they used to be just a great hard rock, AC/DC, tons of energy. great guitar playing, and then Mutt Lange turned them into cyborg robot sounding hysteria, just absolutely took all the fire and energy out of them. And like you said, it's amazing that I did a video on it on my channel, and somebody commented that Joe Elliott hates the album and is embarrassed by it, that whole phase of the band. So that's why it was that's why it was never, and this was, somebody commented on this. I don't know how true that is, but it wouldn't surprise me, because why else would they have sat on that?
Wait, because Joe Elliott hates that live album?
He just doesn't like that whole era of the band, because that live album is really just On Through the Night, and they were starting to play songs that would be on High and Dry. They hadn't even released High and Dry yet, but there's a bunch of High and Dry songs on there. And you even hear, I think it's like an early version of Rock Rock Till You Drop or something, like the title is different and everything.
That's right.
And that's what one or two people commented, that like, yeah, Joe Elliott just doesn't, that whole, for like first two albums of the band, they just want to forget that. And it's like, man, are you crazy? This is just amazing.
Those guys, I mean, if they would embrace that, I mean, me personally, it's like, they just piss me off to where it's like, I don't care what they do anymore. But to say you weren't part of that scene and you weren't a hard rock band and all that, it's like, I get it. You want to be fucking Led Zeppelin, and you're never, ever, ever going to be Led Zeppelin. I get it. But embrace the past, man. And
I think he wants to be more Mott the fucking Hoople than
whatever
Zeppelin.
they want to be. They think they're more than they are.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
They distance themselves. They've always wanted to distance themselves from that whole NWO BHM scene.
Yeah.
They always had their eyes set on being a, like an American radio rock band. They never considered themselves metal. They never wanted to associate with that, and pretty much as quickly as they could, they seemed to move away from from that sound.
I don't get it. I don't get when bands do that. It's like, man, it was part of your maturing and whatever. Pantera is another great example. Pantera are huge in the 90s, and they sucked balls, in my opinion. But that 80s stuff I dig, but they won't even release that stuff, admit to that stuff or anything. It's like, and it gets booted left and right. And I've even heard the band is behind a lot of that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Why not go ahead and just do a nice release of all that stuff? People would go nuts on it.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with that first singer, to be honest with you.
You think?
I think so. Because there was some weird thing, like Metal Magic Records was his label or some shit. So if anybody's making money off the bootlegs, it's that Gary Eisen or whatever his fucking name is. Remember, he was in that band Lord Tracy after
Piranha.
See you later, babe. I'm going out with the boys.
One other thing I got in, been spinning this. This is killer, man. Razor, Canadian band.
How are those Razor reissues, man?
They're great, man. But this is the '84 demos. It was called Escape the Fire. So this is I think in between the EP and the first album.
How's it sound?
It's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, if you like that early Razor stuff, this blew me away.
Yeah, because those are priced pretty nicely too, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, man. And they're
like
definitely worth
$18 or something.
Yeah, and I was late to the Razor game. I think I had maybe one album. I can't remember which one back in the day. But
I got this too, man.
What's that?
The Black album?
The reissue of the Black thing. I got it free. So
there you go.
It was a promo. I would never fucking buy another copy. Don't get me started.
But now I think those hot roller reissues of the Razor stuff. I mean, mostly what I have. And
dude, thank you for the heads up for the Rods album.
Yeah, man.
I had no idea that was coming out.
That just kind of popped up too, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
So mine's on the way.
What is this?
A High Roller reissued the Rods independent first album called Rock Hard.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it has the different bass player on it, I believe, right? Or a different drummer?
No, it's still got what's his name?
I think it has a different bass player.
Yeah, but it's they put out the first album they put out by themselves.
Right.
And then
somebody I had that for years.
I don't think I've ever heard that, man.
Yeah, they only from reading this, they only press like 1,000 of them, and it's like impossible to find and pricey.
I had one till about a year ago.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody offered me $550 for it, so I took it.
I don't blame you.
And I had no idea that this reissue was coming out.
I don't know if I'd let that go for $6, George.
Well, no, it was $5.50. Like when I thought he was gonna, I'm like, yeah, make me an offer, like, because he asked me over Discogs. He's like, you wouldn't happen to have the Rods record, and I was like, actually, I do. And he's like, are you willing to sell it? And I said, I didn't even look it up or anything. And I said, well, make me an offer. And then I went and looked it up, and I think there was one copy up there for $450 or something. Wow. So I'm like, all right, well, if he comes in at like $375 or $400, I'll sell it to him. Fuck it. Dude, he can't, his offer's like, how is it? I'm like, it's mint, dude. I got it years and years ago. I said, I've always kept it. He's like, $550 good? I'm like, yep, here's my PayPal.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
This is like a fucking bonus to me. Like, they're just reissuing it because I think they reissued it in black, white, right? Or is it white or silver? I think it's silver.
I don't know. I don't even know. I think mine's just black. Yeah.
Yeah, I just ordered the black one.
Yeah.
And
last thing I've been spinning. I don't know if you guys.
I never listened to that record.
Dude, I wasn't big on this album when it first came out. Yeah, this is the one after. I think this is the one right after Nothing Face, or was that Angel Rat?
Dude, Voivod was never even on my radar ever.
I love Nothing Face. That's my favorite Voivod album. And then those other two albums come out, and I wasn't too big into it. But man, this is like going back to it now. This is freaking awesome, man! What a killer album. Either one of you guys into Voivod, John or Laz?
I got to be honest, I can never get past the vocals, that sort of yelpy style of vocals. I saw them live when we went on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to get into it. I mean, I do kind of like the early stuff is kind of interesting. Like I have Roar, and I think I have like one or Nothing Face and one or two others. And I mean, I like it, but the vocals were always just kind of the thing I could never quite get past.
Like Celtic Frost.
I like Celtic Frost. I'm okay with that. There's just something about Voivod that just the way he's not quite screaming. He's like sort of yelping or something. I don't know. I just couldn't. I can't get past it. Cool riffs though, great playing.
Fuck off, man. Oh, my brother Couch is on. That's right. I forgot about that. The 3D.
Yeah, the 3D glasses. That's right.
And then he said the first two Def Leps are classic. Absolutely. I would even throw Pyromania in as a decent record, but
hey, I gotta let a dog out. I'll be right back.
Is that code for taking a shit?
No, I did that right before the video started, so we're good tonight.
I gotta let a dog out.
Wow, he fucking cut out. He was like, I'm out. He's lying.
I had to let a dog out.
He left it straight up. Fucking round circle in the middle of the screen. He was prairie dogging it, man. He had a fucking 911 out of that bitch.
Oh my god,
that's funny. I think he hit the wrong button. I hope he can get back on. If not, I'm sure if he's fuck, man. Have you guys heard the Wildhearts yet?
Heard them? Yeah.
Yeah, not that album that you were talking about, but yeah. Dude,
they're one of my favorite. Other than AC/DC, like those guys are just every record's different. Still heavy and melodic or even commercial, some of it, but
I think they played on. We went on this Monsters of Rock cruise probably 3 years ago at this point, and I'm pretty sure that they were on it. And yeah, it was really cool. great kind of old school, a little bit of a 70s, vibe to some of the stuff they do, like a Rod Stewart, Faces, that kind of melodic, hard rock type of thing. Great songs.
Yeah, and it's the lead singer, Ginger. He's like, I don't know, man. He writes probably 2 songs in his sleep or something. It seems like the guy's constantly putting music out.
It's strange how they never really broke. They never really broke big. You would have thought, because they were around in the 80s and they could have sort of slotted into that whole LA scene kind of hair metal.
Yeah, well, they
scene.
were a little late. No, they were more early 90s.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah, so maybe they missed it a little bit. The type of thing that they were doing, it was just maybe a little out of place in the late 80s. So.
Oh, here you go. Trenton, Faith No More, Soundgarden, Voivod. Best show you ever seen. What about the yo-yos and Backyard Babies at the Pontiac? So what else you got? What else new are you listening to?
Oh, let me see here.
Maiden is consuming a lot of our time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's listening wise, just sitting here. So yeah, here's the red one, the black one, and hopefully, I think Steve sent me the gray or the silver one or whatever. But I've been spending a lot of Manila Road lately.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Saga.
What do you think of the word splatter and splatter vinyl?
Well, that was kind of out of nowhere.
Because one of the maidens is like, isn't it like clear splatter vinyl or black splatter or something?
No,
every time I see splatter, I think somebody shit all over it.
No, there's only 3 versions that I'm aware. Well, no, I take that back. There's a 4th one, but it's some weird like UK exclusive, really expensive. I don't know what the hell the deal is with it, but no, there's a black, a red and black marble, and then the silver and black marble or something.
I think the silver and the black marble's the Amazon one.
Yeah, the silver's the Amazon.
I had a friend that saw that Faith No More, Soundgarden, and Voivod show. He's same way. Best show you ever saw.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, how about boot in the ass? What do you got there, Laz? Pick any boots up?
Oh, let's see.
Anything new?
I got a couple sitting here. I always have some new Maiden boots, but this one, I think this is actually a boot of a reboot.
Is that on Deadline or whatever?
Yeah, Deadline.
Yeah, that's cool.
But this thing,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, this thing sounds amazing. I mean, this thing sounds like factory press live album, straight up.
Is Deadline even still around?
Yep.
And this was.
And they still put out the same.
Yeah.
It's got the copyright 2015, but I want to say it was recorded live in '98. But I saw something online that this was pressed once before too. I think so. Did
you say 98? Is that can't be right? Is it?
That's when it originally released on CD, I believe.
Okay.
No, it's recorded live at the Key Club in Hollywood, California, October 2nd and 3rd, 1998.
Oh yeah, that's when they recorded it. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was like an 80s show.
No.
Wow. I didn't even realize they were playing together still in 1998.
You would think it's an 80s show by looking at the packaging.
I like that cutout cover, actually.
Die cut.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a
the purple vinyl.
Clear purple.
Yeah.
But I grabbed this at the record store. This wasn't even like an online or anything. It was right there in the bin. The brand new, I think it was like, I don't know, $18.99. It wasn't bad at all.
Oh.
Deadline is so weird. What them and what's the other one? Cleopatra.
Mm-hmm.
There's like,
well, that's the same company.
Is it? It's like some cool stuff, and then like, why do you keep?
They just keep reissuing the same stuff, different titles,
different covers, or yeah, it's like.
Yeah, And I'll go ahead and show. I got to show at least one maiden. So this one came in. This is Fear in Din Bosch.
Oh, nice.
And this is a 3 LP set. Yeah, which is gatefold.
Wow, nice.
And it's on green vinyl.
Now, what year is that?
This is 90. What was the date on Live in the Netherlands, September 92. 3 LPs, and one of them, I think it's, yeah, this one here. It's got the
Etching.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
Wow.
They even used the real logo.
Yeah.
How's the sound?
I haven't even spun this yet, so I can't say the sound yet. It's limited to 350, and it doesn't even give a label name, so I don't even know who it was pressed by. There's no label name, anything up there.
Yeah.
So,
is it? Anybody else notice that the bootleg kind of slowed down a bit?
Yeah, it kind of comes in waves now.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this, and this is what I've noticed, is the bootlegs now. Have you guys noticed this? Because I have, and through some of our regular connections we always buy from to online, the prices are going up on bootlegs.
It's everything, man. Yeah.
But bootlegs especially, I mean, there's some bootlegs I've picked up recently that are the same label, the same type of pressing as others I've got for the nice even $20 bill are now like 3 times that. It's
wow.
Something's going on. So I don't know what the deal is, but the demand's just gotten up to that point with them or something. But
now, John, do you mess with bootlegs very often?
Not really, to tell you the truth. I don't really have a lot of bootleg vinyl stuff. I every now and then I'll grab something. Like I have this AC/DC. I know that there was a lot of these are all radio shows. This is from it doesn't have a date, or it does, 1977. And I have another one that's like this. I know that, maybe this is something you guys can answer, because I know you seem to be more knowledgeable about the bootleg scene than I am. I made a video commenting on the difference between a bootleg and an unauthorized release. The topic came up when we were talking about Black Sabbath's Live at Last. It's an album that the band doesn't endorse, but it's not a bootleg, because at some point in the band's career, their previous manager had the rights to those shows and he released it. It's technically not a bootleg, but it's not endorsed by the band. But a lot of people were commenting on like that AC/DC show. I've seen, if you go into like FYE or some legitimate, store, you'll see these radio broadcasts that they put on. And I don't know if, do you guys know, is it because is it some weird copyright law that they're able to get around this because it was on a radio show in another country or something? How are these shows? You can even get them on Amazon. You can get
all of them that we know of that are in like Sam Goody or Amazon or stuff like that are all imports. They're all pressed overseas. There is some kind of copyright loophole that they're all using, but I think by the looks of it, that's starting to close up a little bit. I don't know why, but you're not seeing as many, unless they're just running out of shows now, which, like every other bootleg company, they'll just put it out with a different fucking title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that show that you just showed, I have probably 5 or 6 different LPs of that show.
Wow.
Like my whole AC/DC bootleg collection is, I don't know, I got over 100 on vinyl, but
wow.
But I buy everything. Anything that's new AC/DC that comes out, even if I have the show already, I just grab it if it's cheap.
But there's so many of these fake labels
Yeah.
doing them. But at the same time, there's Back on Black was doing, all kind of live shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they stopped. They must have got a cease and desist or something.
Yeah. So there was something going on in Europe, I think, that was letting this stuff get out. It'll still keep coming, but I don't think it's going to be as cheap as it was.
And so then also I think kind of like what John's talking about too is so you have bootlegs of live shows, but then you have like this. Okay.
That's a pirate.
Yeah,
to me, that's a pirate.
Right?
Yeah.
The pirated record. So this is not a unauthorized recording of a live event. This is an absolute, fake,
See that circle?
That's a
sounds great.
Yeah, it does sound great. But that circle, see that colored circle on there?
Yeah.
You see that with any color with that circle on there, it's a guaranteed pirate.
Yep.
Is that on the shrink wrap or is that on the actual cover?
It's on the shrink, I believe.
It comes on the shrink. Yeah, it comes on the shrink.
So why does that circle mean that it's the pirate? It's just
because they're all the same.
It's the company that does it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all the same circle and it's all the same font, but it's the color of the circles should be the color of the vinyl.
It is. It's green. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many of those out there, though. Like those Priests, and then you had Facelift by Alice in Chains for years before they finally put it out. And then the Danzig first album.
Yeah.
The Stampede.
And like
album.
you're just talking about the early Panteras.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's like every year or so there's a new round of boots of those coming around.
Greeno and I's first trade ever on 10 years ago was you sent me Power Metal on vinyl. I
found an OG and you're like, I'll take your boot. I was like, no problem, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of cool and it's kind of not. It's almost like, bands, labels, get off your ass and put this stuff out because other people are making money on it.
So that's exactly, kind of what I wanted to say is, for example, this right here, an OG of this record is up to like almost $400 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. And I find it interesting that almost every record store day, Priest drops another repressing of freaking, Rock-a-Rolla or something like that. Mm-hmm. And of course, us stupid Priest fans buy it because we just do that. So, but
not all of us.
But if they were to just repress this freaking thing,
never happen.
They'd sell 1 million of them.
Never gonna happen.
Because they don't, the pirates get it, and they're making all the money on it. So, in my opinion, at first I used to be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't buy that, support my band, blah, 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 blah. But now it's like, damn it, I want it on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find it on vinyl. And if they're not willing to do it, well, then that's their problem. That's their loss,
And if they would have done the original fucking cover instead of blowing it up like they did on the vinyl.
Yes, this thing sucks, man. Look how pixelated that thing is.
Yeah. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on the original one, either it was a gatefold or the inner sleeve had the whole piece of artwork from that.
The inner sleeve.
Yeah, and the inner sleeve, it's like, you dummies, why didn't you use that for the cover? I never understood that.
It gives it charm. Bootleg charm.
It looks like ass. No, that was the original shit, man. The original album was like that too.
Oh, really?
It was blown up like that because the CD, you would unfold it.
And you know why? Because it was the 90s.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and it was
terrible. And then when
everybody's like, yeah, the 90s.
But I remember getting the original vinyl of that record when I was man. Yeah, I was managing Repo and Bryn Mawr, and I remember opening the box and seeing that cover just like that one, and I was like, what the fuck? Why would they not put the whole piece of art on the fucking cover of the vinyl? So stupid. But they'll never reissue those records with Rob in the band. It's never gonna happen. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure he's stated that before, and I'm pretty sure Ripper Owens has been crying about it online somewhere.
Yeah, it's not a case like Maiden where Bruce is okay with the Blaze stuff and they release the Blaze stuff.
Yeah.
Or it might be like Black Sabbath and Tony Martin, that stuff. I wish they would release some of those Tony Martin albums on vinyl, like Cross Purposes and Forbidden, and they keep saying they're going to do it, but then it always keeps getting delayed and delayed because they're putting out yet again another reissue of Paranoid. But they just keep going back to that first 6 album, well over and over and over again.
Haven't those two been pirated too? Like Forbidden, I think I have a.
There's.
Well, I think Headless Cross was originally. I think I have an original of that.
Yeah, Headless Cross isn't hard to find. You can get Headless Cross, Tear, Dehumanizer, and then after that is where they didn't really. They may not have released them at all on vinyl. Cross Purposes and Forbidden are really the two that never got a proper vinyl release.
I love Dehumanizer. I haven't listened to that record in a while.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your bootage, George?
Do you have anything, John?
No, that was it for me. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot.
I haven't bought
ACDC, I'm sorry.
Boots that I don't have.
Believe it or not, I haven't bought any boots at all, probably since the last Mancave.
Get out. Come on.
Nah, there hasn't been any. Like, I was trying to think today, like, looking through here. I mean, Greeno has he sent me the thing, which he might show. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil it, but I think he sent me a link to one, and I passed on that. And I think he sent me a link to another one, and I passed on, too.
Dude, we were like living on boots there for about a
year
year and a half.
I haven't bought any, man. I've been concentrating more. Like I had to do fucking pre-orders for the Wildhearts stuff because I ordered them direct. Then I got the Japanese CD for that record because it's got 2 bonus tracks. And then the UK, fucking Amazon UK has 2 other bonus tracks. That's the only place you can get those. So I was like, all right, I spent enough money on Wildhearts over the past couple months.
No boots this month.
No, I haven't. I really haven't. Like, I'm almost pretty positive what Greeno's going to show, but I'm not sure.
I got a couple here.
All right, let me see if
this is probably the one you're thinking of. I'm guessing.
Let's see. Yes, that's one of them.
Merciful Fate, Copenhagen 90 or 82.
And that, dude, it took me. I kept going back to the page and looking. I'm like, should I just put it in my cart?
I'm right there with you, George, because he sent it to me too, and I was like, it was like in the cart.
How's it sound?
I think Vance took the bait.
Yeah, Vance got it.
But I was on the fence myself because I think this is my 4th Merciful Fate boot.
I was gonna say, dude, they've been rocking out the King Diamond Merciful Fate boots for the last 6 months like crazy.
But this is the first really good sounding one I've come across.
Really?
Yeah, this is freaking great. I mean,
is it an audience or a soundboard?
No, it's either soundboard or radio. I think it's radio.
Is that is that a real Obi strip or is that printed on there?
Obi.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it slides.
Yeah, I might have to check that one out then.
Yeah, I'm super happy with that.
God damn you, Greeno.
It was a little pricey, but I was like,
all right, well then I'm not even gonna look at it then. I forgot how much it was.
It was like 30, 35, something like that, I think.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, but it's like I'm happy. That's why I was on the fence. I don't know, man. I've been burnt on these Merciful Fate, and I'll show you.
That's what I mean. I've seen them all like and just not good quality, but go ahead.
Van said, "Take the bait." What the fuck?
Why you mother?
There's a maiden for
there you go.
See, I missed that one. Fuck.
So this is London 83. Did you get this one, Laz?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sounds pretty good. I was happy with this one. Mm-hmm. And then I got one more, and
that one's Cult Legend, right?
Heavy Metal Records.
Oh, Heavy Metal. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta find that one. How you said it sounds good, audience, or
man? Do you remember?
I always forget, man.
This one I listened to a while back. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
It says soundboard. That's what I said. If I'm right, it sounded pretty damn good.
I had a lot of Maiden boots come in at once, and I have a few that I haven't. I did spin that one though, but I don't recall. I don't remember anything sounding awfully bad. So,
Yeah.
Can I guess your third one?
You'll never get it.
All right. So
are you talking about the Motorhead?
No.
No. Okay. Well, this one.
Wait. Let them guess.
Okay, go ahead and guess.
I thought it was going to be the Van Halen thing.
No, I didn't pull either one of those, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with both those. They're
all right, cool.
This one, I was on the fence because I try and stick to 80s stuff. And this is from 93.
Oh, I know what this is.
And I was talking to this guy I know named
That's not
Dwayne.
80s.
And he's like, man, you better grab it. I thought, all right, I'll get it.
Fucking Dwayne's a bad fucking influence, man.
It's the biggest fucking piece of shit
I've
never gotten. Avoid at all costs. This is horrendous.
Dude, strictly for the collector.
Well, this one's going out the door. I'm not hanging on to it. It's so
strictly
bad.
for the collector.
What's bad about it? The sound quality, or just?
Yeah, it's like it's not listenable. It's like, why did anybody?
I know if I see a box show up from Greeno in the next 2 weeks to fucking return to sender.
Like, motherfucker.
You know what's funny, Greeno? I bought that in both colors too.
No, you didn't. You may have a problem, brother. That's bad.
If it was AC/DC, I'd probably been the same shit. So.
Even like Lad says, it's for collectors. I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'll hang on to it. And then I'm like, no, it's just so fucking bad. You can't listen to it.
So Eric Bauer says that Jugular is best forgotten. I don't know about that one. What do you guys think? I think the one after that's best forgotten. That Demolition. That was a fucking hot turd.
I don't really like either of them. I mean, they're not terrible, but and I don't blame Ripper. Ripper sounds great on them, but it's just the songwriting is just not there.
The lyrical content was awful.
The lyrics are terrible.
Out of the entire Priest catalog, they are the two most unpriestly albums.
Really? So I liked probably half of Jugulator. Was that what it called? I don't even fucking remember what it was called. Jugulator. I do like Bullet Train, and I know the lyrics are a little bit goofy, but musically I thought that was a good tune. And there's stuff towards the Empire, the end of the record, and it might have been the last song on there. Was it? God, what the hell was the name of that? I know.
The last track?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I was gonna say, who the hell just showed it? I can't even remember who the fuck just showed it. Christ.
I've never heard.
Laz had it, yeah.
Is it like
Cathedral Spires?
Oh, dude, that's a
good track.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
You know what? And they never
hot turd.
Cathedral Spires is a great song. And if I'm correct, they never played it live during those tours. And that tells me right away that their radar was just way off. Like they just didn't know what was going on. Because to me, that we did a Judas Priest deep cuts on my channel, and that was one that I picked, Cathedral Spires. And out of curiosity, I was like, I just assumed that they played that song when Ripper was in the band. And I looked and I was like, what? They didn't play this? Are you kidding me? I mean,
it was probably the best Ripper Priest track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great song. But
Let me ask you guys this real quick. Who here is a fan of Nostradamus?
I actually halfway like that album. It's not bad.
Oh, the album? I thought you meant the actual dude.
No, the album.
Nah, I'm just kidding. The album, I fucking hated that record.
If they
go back and listen to it again.
No. I will not do what you tell me to do.
You will, and you will report back.
I will. Actually, I will. I'll be spending a lot of time in the shop this next 2 weeks, so I'll probably pop it on.
Don't put it on vinyl though.
No.
Don't do the vinyl because all the vinyls are ruined.
Yeah, I heard that.
No, they actually
Yours aren't?
Visually, they look like that, but they sound fine. It's strictly
here's the deal. I had 2 copies.
I thought they were falling apart.
No, I had 2 copies. I opened one when I first got it, and I didn't like the sleeves they were in, which was causing the leaching onto the vinyl. I threw those sleeves out and put them in new, sleeves. So I never had any issues. And then I had one that was sealed for years until the problem popped up. Everybody was talking about it in the VC, and I was like, time to get rid of that sealed copy. So I got rid of it. So I don't know if, I'm sure it leached like all, and it turned them gray, if I remember right.
No, it just gives
a film.
I'll just show you, but it gives it a weird, almost kind of like a rainbow look to it. Okay.
I remember everybody
look like it's dirty vinyl. Okay, but it's not. It sounds totally fine. It plays totally fine.
I remember everybody finding out about that and pulling them out to look at them and freaking out, man. It was like,
my copies didn't play fine. Mine, the one that's ruined on mine is it sounds like a bad picture disc. You know how picture discs have that noise in the background? Yeah. I'm going to pull my copy because maybe the damage on mine. And in fact, I remember I bought it like right when it came out, and I got it for $10 at Best Buy. And I thought, I just took it back and I got another one, and that one was damaged. And then they just gave me another one. So I had 2 at one point. And there was, I was hoping that maybe one record would be damaged in one and not in the other. But,
Yeah, that's how mine is. I got, out of the 3 records, 2 are fine and 1 has the leach.
I hated the record, so I never bought it on vinyl. I did. I just, there was nothing about that record I liked when it first came out.
I like the music. I don't like all the crap in between the music.
But like, you got, like we always say, man, I could have been in a totally different spot.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, you're muted, John. You're muted.
That's the way mine is. Also,
but mine sounds fine. It plays great.
You can't really see. You can sort of see it on mine.
See it. Yeah, yours is the same.
And that doesn't come off?
No.
Huh.
It's like a chemical reaction to the vinyl.
Oh. That's crazy, man.
For some reason, I mean, I got it the day it came out, and when I opened it, I was like, I don't like these sleeves the vinyl's in. And
they're picture disc sleeves. They're the PVC.
But they were even, I don't know, there was something even more about them it was just shitty. So I went ahead and replaced them. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I don't know which album that Aaron's talking about. It looks like a reggae record. The Priest?
Like a reggae record. Huh. Wow.
You're not supposed to type out what you're thinking in your head there, Aaron. I think he's looking around his living room.
One LAZ just showed. Yeah, I guess he's talking about Nostradamus, right?
Yeah. I guess.
All right.
Dumbass.
Head to head. LAZ, did you pick one too?
You know what, man? I actually picked 2.
Okay.
All
right.
Because there's one. I pretty much for all the threads tonight, I stuck pretty much to 1986.
Yeah.
Strictly by chance. It's kind of funny. I didn't mean to do that. It just happened that way. But I really wanted to do a head-to-head from the 70s and a head-to-head from the 80s.
Okay, so how this works, this is the first one for George. So basically, we show 2 albums. You get to pick. It don't matter if they're both great. You got to pick one, or if they're both turds, you got to pick one. And if you have any kind of memory of them, anything you just recall the album. So basically, you got to pick an album.
So I'm going to do the 80s ones first. And the first one is from this artist, not his strongest LP. And for the other one, for the band, it's not their strongest either. However, I think the second one with age has gotten stronger than the first one. That's just me. But you tell me what you guys think. So we are going to put up against each other Dio, Sacred Heart, versus Sabbath, Seventh Star. This album, to me, just gets better and better as the years go by.
Huh.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Sacred Heart, hands down. I love
Fuck
that.
yeah.
I saw
Yep.
that tour. We got 7th row center. Felt the heat off the fire coming from the dragon.
Nice.
And honestly, I'm not as familiar with that Sabbath album, which actually wasn't a Sabbath album, correct? That was
No, it was supposed to be an
solo.
Iommi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a solo Iommi record.
I remember the single off of that Sabbath record. I fucking hated it.
No
What was
Stranger to Love.
Yes.
It's like a very 80s ballad. They had a weird 80s video for it. Yeah, it was very
I hated
un-Sabbath like.
And, you know, I got to be honest with you. When I first heard the Dio record, I wasn't a fan at first of that record.
That's what I mean. This is not Dio's strongest.
Yeah.
Record, you know what I mean?
I mean, right now, I got to go Dio just because the Sabbath, I don't think I ever really paid attention to after hearing that first single.
Really?
Yep.
I actually have grown to love this album.
I might need to go back and check that out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out again.
Yeah.
I have, dude, every time it's been reissued, I bought it on CD. I don't know why, but.
I'm going to say for myself, if I have to pick, I definitely have more time with Sacred Heart.
Mm-hmm.
More memories, more time, everything with this album. But like I said, over time, this has really grown to be an album that I definitely love now. But both released the same year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, John?
Tough one, but I'm going to say Sacred Heart because I like Vivian Campbell. I wish he could have hung around longer. I think Sacred Heart gets kind of a bad rap. King of Rock and Roll is an awesome album opener. The title track is great, Rock and Roll Children. The album does sort of slip towards the end. Shoot, Shoot is a terrible song.
Too many songs.
Fallen Angels is cool. I forget what else is on there, but I think it's a good record. I mean, and I love Vivian Campbell. Vivian and Dio had sort of a Randy and Ozzy, sort of feel. And so it was sad for me to see Vivian leave the band. But I do like that Sabbath album too. It shouldn't have been called Black Sabbath. It should have been called, an Iommi record.
Well, let's see.
Technically.
There you go.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, I feel much better now.
And if I'm not mistaken, Eric Singer plays drums on that record, no?
Yeah, it's like Eric Singer, Dan Spitz on bass.
Yeah, Davey Spitz's
Dave
brother.
Spitz on bass, yeah. Glenn Hughes, of course, on vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is that Glenn Hughes on that one?
Yeah, that's Glenn Hughes.
Fuck, all right. I definitely want to go listen to that again.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm telling you.
Why did I think that was Tony Franklin or whatever?
Tony Martin?
Tony Martin, no.
That's Headless
I'm thinking of the old the old Eagles kicker back in the 70s. Tony Franklin, barefoot kicker.
So
Bob Boone saw that tour with Ray Gillen was singing. Huge.
Yeah.
Dude, here's another one. That lineup of Sabbath or the lineup with fucking Ian Gillan?
Do what now?
So what would you rather see? The lineup with Ray Gillan or the lineup with Ian Gillan of Sabbath?
The Born Again Sabbath? Hell yeah.
I'd rather see the Born Again because I like that album.
I did too.
Yeah, me too. It sounded like shit, but I like it.
I like that album. I remember Corey did a Sabbath video and we all kind of picked an album, and I picked that one because that's like underappreciated.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, overlooked.
It's the mix that scares everybody away. Although supposedly Iommi they were going to do a remix of the album, not a remaster, but a proper remix, but they couldn't find the master tapes. But supposedly they have found the master tapes.
Yeah, I did hear
You
that.
know what though?
Oh, that's sad.
I think
I would like to hear that remix.
Gives it the charm that album has though.
Exactly. It's just like And Justice for All.
Yeah.
I don't put it out with a bunch of bass on it.
I can't stand that record.
Leave it the way it is, man. You know.
Yeah, you're always playing with fire when you mess with an album that people have been living with for however long, regardless of whether it's good, bad, or ugly.
I think Metallica, they should at least bump up his fucking bass a little bit on the future reissue.
I'm fine the way it is. It's like, you know what?
It's not existed.
Born Again to me is like the perfect description of acid rock. You know what I mean? There's something about that album. It's just like when I hear somebody say acid rock, I think of Born Again. It's
that mix you hear with that psychedelic colored cover. It's, you know, there's just something about
that could be Black Sabbath's best cover ever.
This is my 70s pick, and the reason I wanted to do this is because this is something I've thought about for years, actually, even. And so, you know, when you started this, I immediately thought of these two albums. These are classic 70s albums. These are big hitting albums. I believe, if I read correctly, one released and sold 15 million copies. The other one released and sold 17 million copies. They were released 1 year apart from each other. So we're going to go with Rumors and the Boston self-titled debut.
Oof.
That's funny, dude. I was going to put Boston against Bat Out of Hell. Some Meatloaf.
Yeah, we were dumping on Meatloaf last time.
That's tough. This one's tough, man, because both of those records were on my parents' fucking turntables when I was a kid. You know.
What's tough about the Boston record is that pretty much every song on that album, I think there's maybe one song on that album that hasn't been absolutely played to death on classic rock radio.
Same with Rumors, though.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But totally different fucking vibe on each record, man. That's the tough part, because I love both records.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't say I love both records, but I appreciate both records. I would never turn off both of them, put it that way. But having said that, I would probably turn off Fleetwood Mac before I would turn Boston off. So I'm going to go Boston.
Okay. I'm going Boston because I would spin the Boston album. I would listen to Fleetwood Mac on the radio. I wouldn't spin the Fleetwood Mac record at home, you know what I mean? But yeah, Boston for me.
Okay.
For me,
tough, isn't it?
He's torn.
Boston. No, I'll go Boston. I love Tom Scholz's guitar sound. I love his playing. I'm a little tired of hearing some of those songs, but I mean, there's just no denying rock and roll band. It's just so cool. The vocals on it are great. I saw them live like maybe 4 years ago or something. They came to Hard Rock Live in Orlando, and they sounded amazing. And I mean, they basically played that entire album. And every time they went into one of the songs on this record, just everybody went bananas. My memory of that show, though, is, you know, I go to so many metal shows and I never have any problems with people in the crowd. I go to the Boston show and I almost got in a fight with somebody. Like, Boston? You know, there was this drunk guy and he was like knocking people over, and he knocked this guy over, like intentionally pushed this guy, an older guy, like a 80, 90-year-old guy with a cane, and he was sort of messing with this guy. And he knocks this guy over. So I see him and he's coming back towards me, and I just shoved him really, really hard. And he fell over this railing that was like right near us, you know. I was like, I can't let this guy get away with this. He's like, you know, he just knocked a 90-year-old guy with a cane over. I don't care if I'm at a Boston show. I was like, what? You know, I go to so many metal shows, nothing ever happens. I go to a Boston show and it's like, and there was like practically a riot. He fell over the railing then, and then this big thing happened and all these people started fighting, and it was this big thing. And I was just like, at a Boston show.
Hardcore fans, man.
Yeah. The mosh pit got going during, you know. I was karate chopping in the pit during, you know, Peace of Mind.
I'm going to say
bit bop boom, bit bop boom. That's not how this works. You have to pick one.
Yep, you have to pick one. So what I'm going to say is present day, this album outsells this album now. This is still selling millions of copies. Okay.
I sell about 1,000 copies of Rumors a year at the shop, dude.
Wow.
There you go.
I swear to God. I mean, I could get 10 from our distributor new, and I could buy a fucking 10 collections. Every collection has that record in it.
Mm-hmm.
Put them all out, and they're gone in less
What do they
than a
go
week.
for now?
Oh, the reissues are, I think, 20 or 24.
No, I mean, if you find an old one in good shape, what do you put on it?
I mean, if it's mint, with the poster, I think we put 12 on it. And if it's, just a regular run of the mill copy, anywhere from 488 to 798. Depends on if it's got one scratch on it, it ends up in the dollar room. So
that's good, dude. Before I stopped digging, I was seeing them for close to $20.
Yeah, no, we don't. Wow. No way do we put them that. We can get, like I said, it's same.
Now you know why they fly out of the bin at Georgia's shop.
Yeah.
Well, we see so many of that, and the album before that one, the self-titled one.
Yeah, the self-titled.
And the self-titled, I could put that out $9.99.
And that's something else too. You can take that self-title and Rumors and take Boston and Don't Look Back. Gatefold both sets, and you got the same problem.
And then put it in your fucking Volkswagen Bug and drive over a cliff with all 4 of them.
So for me, I'm going to go.
They are the kind of records, though. Like if I never heard them again, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, right. I don't think any of us here would be spinning these, but you still got to pick one.
Right.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have to go Boston strictly on Delp's performance on this record.
Plus the cover kicks ass, according to Vance.
Yeah, that was definitely probably tattooed a hell of a lot more than that. So
well, that's the guy that did that. The guy that did that cover is a famous artist that did a lot of the psychedelic posters in the late 60s, isn't it?
Yeah.
That I'm not sure.
But those are just 2 records I have always thought were good head-to-head records, man. They were just, they're legendary records.
Classic rock, legendary classic rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they came out a year apart and sold almost identical numbers,
And you mentioned, George, I think, mentioned having like millions of copies of those. There's a record store in St. Petersburg, Florida called Bananas, and they claim to be one of the biggest record stores in the U.S. And they actually have 2 buildings. They have one main building. They've got a massive like dollar room. And then they have another place that's just like a library. You know how library shelves are with just stuff like stacked. And you can go down there, and when you're going down, you'll see literally 75, 100 copies of Rumors. You'll see that Boston album. They'll just have an entire row of those Boston records. It's crazy.
That's like Jerry's records in Pittsburgh.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
I remember being there one time, and I was looking, this was years ago, looking for a good copy of Van Halen Diver Down. And he's like, yeah, go around the corner there on the shelves. I went around, it was like this many of them. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit, man. Well, let's find the best one we can find.
Did you find a gold stamp promo of it?
I don't know. All right, I got 2 here.
Cool.
Those were good, Laz.
Yeah, man. I like that. That was a good discussion about those 4 records.
We'll do introduce them one at a time here. So we're on the first one. We're talking tracks like "Working for the Weekend."
Greeno, first off, I gotta say, the close-up shot of you. You got a new camera?
Nah, I got some kind of circle light.
Oh, okay, because you are looking like one sexy beast tonight.
Thanks, sir.
You look so good, I can smell you.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that. The wife's been out of town all week. I
fucking Steelers shirt on, for Christ's sake.
I got to go let a dog out.
All right, so it's working.
That's what that means. Yeah. You got to rub one out.
Who let the dogs out?
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greeno.
All right, so we got tracks like "Working for the Weekend," "When It's Over," Gangs in the Street, Lucky Ones. Anybody know the album yet?
Loverboy.
Loverboy.
That's right. So this is 81. This next album came out in 83, and it has Rockin' in America, Rumors in the Air, a turd called Sister Christian. So
Night Wrangler.
Midnight Madness.
Fuck, man. See, that's another hard one because that's in the same vein as like Rumors and fucking.
Both albums are not solid albums, but both albums have killer tracks to me.
They're both fucking 80s turds for sure, man.
This is easy for me.
This is easy for me too, actually.
It is kind of easy for me.
Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'm taking Ranger.
Really?
Well, yeah. That's not who I was going to
Especially
pick.
because the album prior, Dawn Patrol, is a freaking killer record. You know.
Yeah, we're not talking about that record.
I know we're not talking about that
album.
Let me finish. And that was my intro to Ranger. So I was already a Ranger fan when this album came out. So this just fit right in my business when it dropped. Loverboy to me was, that's that MTV band. You know what I mean?
Was the Night Ranger cover the high collars that got you?
No, you know what? Honestly, I still think Night Ranger has one of the best logos for a band.
Yeah, but that's the
cool.
worst goddamn. Not that this is a great cover. But,
wait, first off,
that's a shit cover.
Yeah, the Loverboy
that is
cover.
A shit cover. That is a shit cover. But I also don't need to see some dude with fingers on his leather clapped ass.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that a dude's ass or is that a chick's ass? And he's just happy.
It don't matter.
That's my question.
Like if it's a chick's ass, then it's a whole different story. I gotta go Loverboy.
But it ain't. Or if it is, that chick's got some man fucking hands, man.
I don't know.
Got some hair.
No. The guy standing next to her.
Yeah, we know it's a guy's hand. Is it a girl's ass or is it a guy's?
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a.
And that makes all the difference in the world. What?
I don't know, man. Look at that thumb. That looks like a chick's thumb.
See, that's my point, George. While you're trying to decide, I'm already halfway done listening to Night Ranger, man.
There's some fucking.
There's a lot of hair.
There's a lot of hair. All right.
See, you can't get past the cover on Loverboy.
That's fucking. Yeah, that's a hairy arm right there. Never mind. I was looking at the female thumb that whoever he had. All
right. So
what's that even mean? What's this mean?
That means that he's getting lucky, man.
Get the fuck lucky is what that means.
He's got his fingers crossed that he's gonna stick him right in that red leather crack later.
All right, so you went with Night Ranger, Laz.
I went with Night Ranger, yeah.
George.
I gotta go Loverboy because I think that's a chick's ass. That's all. Because both the albums suck balls. So no, not. I mean, as a whole, the album sucks. Not sucks, but you know what I'm saying.
They're not solid albums. Yet.
No, there's 2 good songs on each record, maybe, and that's pushing it. Everybody Working for the Weekend is a fucking great song, though.
Yeah,
I think so. So I gotta go Loverboy.
Oh, what you got, John?
Night Ranger, no question. The album cover with Loverboy aside, I could never get past the guy with the bandana.
Listen to him giggle.
Call me shallow. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get past it.
Left the bar with Lola.
All right, so we got 2 Night Rangers and a Loverboy.
And I'll tell you a funny story about that Night Ranger record.
Well, wait, we didn't get Greeno's.
Go ahead, John.
All right. Well, when that album came out, I was in 8th grade, and I went to a Catholic school, so that was our last year before we went to high school. And they had some sort of dance, and the girls at the school convinced the nuns that the theme song for the dance should be Sister Christian. And the nuns were all like, oh, Sister Christian, that's just perfect. This is, blah, blah, blah. So somehow the nuns must have gotten a copy of the record, and they all went home and huddled and listened to it and realized that it wasn't a song about Christian girls and Christian. And they came back in and they had this big meeting with all of us, and we're like, this can't be the song, your theme song for the dance or whatever. So I always remember that, Sister Christian. Pulling one over on the nuns.
Oh my God.
For me,
I know what Greeno's going to say.
Hold on. The best track I think on either one of these albums is "You Can Still Rock in America." I love that fucking song. Cool video. The worst track on the two of these, of course, is "Sister Christian." I never, ever, ever need to hear that fucking song again.
Motoring.
I'm probably gonna go with Loverboy.
Hey, there we go.
It's tied up, man.
He likes
gangs in the streets and all. Man, it's a killer album.
He likes the man ass on the front.
That's it, man. Like that thumb.
Scratch and sniff.
But that early '80s, man, I kind of have a soft spot for all that stuff, like the Hagar albums, Night Ranger, Loverboy.
You know why? MTV, bro. When we were little, they were the first ones to show Loverboy. I mean, Loverboy was on pretty early.
Pat Benatar.
Oh, I still have a.
And somebody mentioned that Mike Reno came from Moxie.
Moxie, yep. Yeah. And that's probably his best work.
Sister Christian, man, that song to me will always be like the first. You know how there's like chick flicks? And that was like the first chick song, man. The first like the metal-ish chick song.
Hair metal ballad.
Yeah, before everybody started doing ballads as a thing, that was the first one. Was that song?
And then Beano One Eye, that's an awesome one. Cherry Pie or Open Up and Say Ah.
Ooh.
I know you're being sarcastic, but that's a good one.
I don't know if he is, but you know what? I go Open Up and Say Ah all day long.
I would too.
That's a great record, man, for a Poison record. Although my favorite Poison record's Crack a Smile. By far, their best album.
I like the first one.
I hate the first record.
Really?
Man.
I think that's a killer garage album, I think, to me.
I don't know. There's something about that record's just not. I did listen to it a lot way back when. So,
well, that was fun.
You guys talk about Poison. I gotta let the dog out again.
Man, you got diarrhea or something?
I'll be right back.
You got diarrhea. How do you turn? What do you turn? See, he did it again. He turned his camera off.
Just hit stop camera.
Oh, all right.
You are cut off.
I know it's pretty technical.
Technical. That's what my Aunt Mary used to call testicles. Technicals. Sister Christian is the skating ring song. That's for sure.
Dude, that song is in my freaking head now. It's in my head now. Damn it.
This Vance said that I saw for
the song tonight.
Well, I did like the first Poison cover till I found out they were dudes. But I thought they were pretty hot for the
which one?
And Metal
which one's winking at you? One of them's winking at you on the cover.
I don't know, but when I was like 15 when that came out, all the ads for that like 2 months before the record, I was like, dude, these chicks are hot. Then I saw the video and I was like, oops, that's not chicks. Then Vixen really threw me off because I was like, wait a minute. It looks like a girl. It sounds like a girl.
I want to see
fucking Poison fucked me over so hard. But yeah, I don't. If you've never heard "Crack a Smile" from Poison, it's got Blue Saraceno on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It was the record they recorded, and then unfortunately, I think got dropped because obviously Nirvana and all that shit. But I want to say they recorded it in like '94, somewhere around there, and that at that time that scene was dead, so it never came out. And then I think when Capitol had like either their 20th anniversary or some shit like that, they reissued it finally on an official CD. And that record, every fucking song on that record I thought was really, really good. for what it is. I mean, it's heavier. It's got better riffs. It's just a good record. You know, it's got their silly like Hollywood chick lyric kind of thing, but it was a bummer hearing. What was the record? Remember when CeCe first came back? Hollyweird or something like that? That record was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crack a Smile was always such a surprise record. Like, oh, here, you know, here's a Poison, another Poison, unreleased Poison record. How good can it be?
Have you guys ever heard the podcast? He does YouTube videos too. It's called Full in Bloom. It's really interesting because the guy interviews a lot of these producers from the 80s.
Oh,
Bo
really?
Hill, Tom Werman, and they go really in depth about the making of a lot of these records. And one of the guys that was involved with the first Poison record, he interviews him. I can't remember if he was I think he was the producer. I don't know who produced that record, but he talks about what a nightmare it was working with Poison. And like Bret Michaels, he was just like, he goes, the guy just can't sing. He goes, we would literally spend an entire night trying to get him to sing one word that we couldn't get him to sing in tune. And we would just spend an eternity just piecing it together word by word, line by line. And
I can see that back then. Yeah. I think he's definitely learned how to sing since the beginning of since the early days, but
yeah, check out that guy's YouTube channel and his podcast. Cause he Full in Bloom. Yeah. And check it out. Because he's Bo Hill and Tom Werman, you know, they go into all this detail, and the guy must be a musician. So he always asks, like, what kind of microphone did you use on the amps? What kind of amp was Warren DeMartini using? And how did you cut the guitar solos? How many takes would it take? And, you know, he gets like really sort of in depth, and it's really kind of a fascinating, like he has one on Doc and Tooth and Nail, and he talks about how even at that point, Don and George, you know, they couldn't even be in the same room, you know, together with each other. And
if they did one with Neil Kernan,
who's that? I'm not sure.
He's another producer from that. He did the second Britney Fox record.
I don't think so.
I would love to see, because I was with those guys then, so it's I'd be curious to see if I always thought Neil Kernan, his production was the best of that era. The producers from the 80s, he was saying that there's a podcast called, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Full in Bloom.
Full in Bloom, yeah.
Where the guy interviews all these 80s producers and behind the scenes people.
And I was telling him that I asked him if he had known if they had interviewed Neil Kernan yet. And because Neil had worked on that second Britney Fox record, I think.
Is that the same ones that did the?
It did Heaven's Edge's first record too.
No, I was trying to. What'd you call it? Full in Bloom. Bloom?
Yeah.
Are they the ones that did the video on the first Van Halen album? They were in the studio that Van Halen went to and all that.
No. This guy just does audio interviews. Okay. And
if you get a chance, check those out, man, because they were talking to some of the guys that were in on it and owned the studio and all that.
Hold on, guys. I gotta go let the dog out for a second.
Sure. So speaking of in the studio, I don't know, Greeno, did you see that one of the Van Halen? It wasn't Ted Templeman. It was another engineer that had produced all those Ted Templeman tracks to the early Van Halen, like the 40-some songs that they had produced.
Yeah, that's the one I think I'm talking about.
All right, yeah, that's why it came to mind when you brought it up. I think he was saying that they're done.
Yeah,
they're ready to go to be.
They were listening to that stuff and talking about it, and it was impressive. They were like, "Well, that was in room 1A," and then the other one was like, "No, you can hear. I think it was in this room." He's like, "Oh, you're right," or whatever.
Yeah,
but they can listen to the tracks and tell what room they were recorded in the studio and all that.
Because they were like, "What were you working on last?" He's like, "Oh, we're working on the Warner Brothers demos for the Van Halen album." I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Yeah, there's 40 songs that Ted Templeman produced as like a I guess,
Oh, we got an unboxing. Is this our first one here on?
Oh, shit.
Rockadrome.
Uh-oh.
That's what he meant by let the dog out. He heard the fucking mailman come knocking.
Yeah.
It's only like 6:45 there, right?
Yeah, what time is it here right now? It is 6:45.
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
George,
Yeah,
I found a copy of that Van Halen boot of the Zero demos or whatever.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Did you get my text? I'll talk to you after the video.
Oh, yeah. I meant to text you back. I got to find the files on my external hard drive, but
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
no problem.
What you got there, brother? That looks like a
let's
nice
see
little
here. There's a sealed Battle Zone.
Yeah.
Original or wow?
With
Now
the
here's
Deanna.
with the $1.99 price tag on it still.
I love that record, man.
Let's see. We've got maybe load.
Dude, that's pretty killer. I got that.
We've got
It's like fucking Christmas at LAZ's house. I love that record too.
Nice.
we've got
Is that the U.S. reissue? Oh, is that Jap?
Japanese reissue.
Nice.
Red vinyl. Shoot the
Oh,
fucker.
I saw that before. Yeah, I saw that.
And then last one is Grease Metalizer.
I saw
I
that
have,
too.
I've had my eye on that too.
Speaking of boot, I think this is red. What's red? Yeah, Cult Legend.
Yeah, I might have to grab one of those if it sounds good. I'm waiting for the one place I get them from. Always put samples up.
Bit Bob Boom said he saw the Battle Zone first tour.
Now here's a question about the Battle Zone, and I can't still to this day can't figure out. That looks killer.
Yeah, it's nice.
If you look on that Battle Zone record you just got, I think there's a track on there called Overloaded.
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
I'll tell you what, I will open it just for you.
Just look on the back. You don't have to open it for me. You could just look on the back.
Let's see.
I think it's on that one. It might be on the other record.
What are you looking for?
There should be track 1. Is track 1 Overloaded?
No, track 1 is Rip It Up.
All right, then it's on the other album.
Track 2 is Overloaded.
Oh, okay. Now that song, dude, they've reissued that album probably about 6 times on CD on all different countries. That song does not appear on any of those reissues for some reason.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's never been on. It's only on the original press of the first, that record.
Is it a cover of some weird song?
I don't think so. I think he wrote it. I think Deano wrote it. He's sniffing in the 80s.
Love it.
How's it look? Nice and flat?
Flat as a pancake.
Nice. Did he get that Overloaded track on there? Is he the songwriting credit?
Let's see.
Might be on the label.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere on the cover.
I just never. It always freaked me out like that never was ever on anything reissued.
It's
Now,
gotta be something somebody else wrote it or something.
I guess.
There's no writing credit.
Huh. That's a bummer, man, because that's the best song on the record.
Well, that's cool. That's our first unboxing.
Yeah.
Right off the porch, man. That thing didn't even have time
this
to
was
cool off.
This Battle Zone was on Rockadrome. I think it was like $3.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
If you dig around on that site, there's some crazy stuff on there, man.
Yeah.
Sealed pipe sticker. Hell yeah.
Hey, so you guys want to get into the main topic?
did.
We're only almost 2 hours in.
I didn't do mine yet.
You didn't do your
My pick. My which
head to head?
head to head. No.
I'll do it.
Oh, do it, baby.
All right. So of course for the first head to head, I'm gonna go with my boys, but I want to see what you guys think. So we got AC/DC's "Let There Be Rock"
Ooh.
or AC/DC's "Power Age."
Okay, this is easy for me, but I know it's going to piss you off.
Why is
I
that?
know you.
Yeah.
Because I know you.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah. Whoever.
All right, fine. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go my pick, easy for me because that's my favorite AC/DC record is "Let There Be Rock," and because I know "Power Age" is your favorite record.
Yeah, it is.
But and it's nothing against "Power Age" at all. I mean, all those records freaking slay. But "Let There Be Rock" has always been my favorite AC/DC record.
Nice.
Next to, and because I can't count it, but 74 Jailbreak is actually my favorite AC/DC release.
Wow.
But as a full album, "Let There Be Rock" is my favorite.
All right, cool.
Dude, with me, that's one way or the other. I could pick either one.
You have to pick one.
I'll do.
It's your rules, Greeno.
Yeah.
It's just like Desert Island, right? If you had to pick one on the
one or you get the bullet. I'll go Power Age.
Cool.
Like you said, Greeno, tough, impossible to pick. But if I had to, I'd probably say "Let There Be Rock."
Ah, right on.
I think it's hard to pick one band and two albums that can make it. Either you're going to have one great album and their shitty album, or you're going to have two that are really good. It's hard to pick that way.
This was your rules, bro.
I know.
Mine fucking Power Age, of course, man. Of course.
Both.
But yeah,
great
"Let There Be
albums.
Rock." I mean, these are my favorite, my two
Dude,
favorite.
"Let There Be Rock," the title track, "Whole Lotta Rosie,"
Bad
those
Boy
two
Boogie.
tracks alone are just
Massive.
Yeah, fucking Power Age. You got "What's Next to the Moon."
Sin City.
Yeah, Gone
Campaign
Shooting.
and Blues. Yeah.
Riff Raff.
yeah.
Fucking
And that's something actually. "Power Age" is the bluesier of the two for sure.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was definitely, and it was their most rushed album, I believe, from what I understand. Like, I mean, everybody should know the German label pressed the album early, so it has different mix on it. There's some guitar tracks missing, different vocals on it. It's weird.
Right on. So everybody cool with that? Doing head to heads? I kind of like this.
Yeah, I did too. That's good.
We'll do more of these. All right, so let's get on to the main topic. So what we're going to talk about is overlooked major label releases. So nothing like crazy obscure indie press stuff. It's just albums that come out on major labels by either bands that never made it or bands that are big and made it, but one of their albums or whatever doesn't get any love.
I know I've been fucking chomping at the bit for these two, but I'm gonna go last.
All right. Let me go first. I haven't went first. I don't think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
I got two right off the
If
bat.
you pick the same two as me, I'm gonna shit all over myself.
Well,
but I won't be surprised.
I bet we all pick different
no,
shit.
I got a feeling too. Actually, I've got like 10 albums I pulled out for this. So, but the first two go together because the first two albums from this artist are the ones everybody talks about, and it's because of the guitar player. But I think the next two are just as good in a different way. And actually, I love that guitar player too. And that's the two Ozzy with Jakey Lee. I love both these albums. I know this one gets shit on more so, but even Bark at the Moon, you don't hear much. Yeah, I mean, you don't hear as much about Bark at the Moon anymore, I don't think.
Maybe not anymore, but it definitely had its heyday, though. Way more than Ultimate Sin.
Yeah, but whenever you hear Ozzy anymore...
Oh, no way. No, I think you got that backwards. I think Ultimate Sin was a bigger album than Bark at the Moon was.
Tour-wise, probably. This
MTV videos, all that shit, man. They have like three on that. Yeah,
them up for this tour. But
I hate both albums.
Really, I like both.
I love both albums.
Actually. No, I don't.
I thought was a killer replacement for Randy.
And it has nothing to do.
He wasn't trying to be Randy.
Yeah.
You know, he had his own thing going. So I think these are kind of overlooked now. People are kind of catching on to him. I see a lot of people kind of talking or posting about this more lately, but still,
I like Bark at the Moon better, and it's not even because the whole Randy Rhoads dying and Jakey Lee coming in. It wasn't anything to do with the different members. I don't know. There was something.
Those two albums got slicker, and I think both those albums
maybe that's what it was.
They kind of led the way for that 80s MTV metal sound, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody else? John, what do you think of those? You're the Ozzy Sabbath guy.
I mean, I love Jakey Lee. I really like Bark at the Moon. I think Bark at the Moon feels more like the first 3 albums to me than Ultimate Sin. Sounds like Ozzy was definitely going in a more MTV, kind of direction. I still love it. It still has the title track, Killer of Giants. So.
I love Bob Boone's comment. Ozzy got blown off the stage every night of the Ultimate Sin tour. Plus, he had a perm.
Oh yeah.
I saw that tour. Metallica Master of Puppets, Ultimate Sin, San Francisco at the Cow Palace. Went to that show by myself. Was dropped off by my uncle in his tow truck to that show with a 6-pack of Mickey's Big Mouth.
Wait a minute. Let's not just blow by that story. That's a story in itself.
You didn't just get dropped off by your uncle, but dropped off by your uncle in a tow truck.
And a 6-pack of Mickey's Big Mouth. Yep.
Ooh.
I was, God, how old was I? 16, 15, 16?
Damn.
Awesome show.
Yeah,
awesome show.
I saw that tour at Largo at the Capitol Center.
Nice.
And Bob Boom's right. Metallica blew him off stage. Ozzy was great there. I totally enjoyed the show. And then the next tour was with Zakk Wylde and Anthrax opening up. So it was almost like picked another killer thrashy kind of band to go out with.
Yeah.
Metallica, though, were just so freaking tight at that point, man, and of course, seeing Cliff, but I still remember, even their stage set compared to Ozzy, they had the little white crosses, set up on the stage, and that was kind of about it with the backdrop, and Ozzy, of course, had all this, the big reptilian Ozzy puppet thing that he was sitting in the lap of and all that, but Metallica was just so powerful and tight at that point, man. It was an amazing show.
When I saw Ozzy come out on the first video with like a sequin fucking dress on, I was like, what?
The white
is going on?
Rhinestone, moo-moo. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. He lost me at that point until the next album, anyway.
Let's go around. You want to do one last?
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I pulled 3. I pulled one from you said maybe a not well-known band.
We'll just do one here to begin. We'll just go around the horn.
Okay, I'll do the unknown first then. To me, this is released on Columbia, so that's a pretty big label. But this band, I think they had 2 albums, was it? And to me, they were kind of cut from the same womb as Night Ranger. They have that same sound to me, but they never get talked about.
That's cool.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this at all.
Yeah, I've got that record.
Yeah.
No.
It is. You could play this right after that Sister Christian record, and you think you're listening to the same freaking record still.
Man, I haven't listened to that forever, but I definitely haven't. Like you said, they had a couple more after that. One more.
I think they only had 2, but I could be wrong. I know they had 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had more than that.
That's a cool pick.
Yeah. But
it's amazing back in that time when it was like just so many bands the labels were throwing out there just to see what would happen,
So many of them.
Yeah, and if for those watching, if you don't know this band, obviously I said Night Ranger, but yeah, they're actually, I don't know, I guess I'd call it like AOR. They're not really metal, but they're not. It's like Night Ranger. I don't know. They kind of have that same sound.
AOR, ass-oriented rock.
So yeah, Le Mans. But yeah, if you just want a good rockin' record, though, I remember I used to see this in the dollar bins all the time.
I was gonna say that's probably something you can still pick up cheap too.
Yeah. If you find it, yeah. It shouldn't cost you much at all.
Is that Hulk Hogan?
I think so.
Jesus
Or
Christ!
bloody Hulk Hogan.
What you got, John?
All right. Well, I went back into the 70s. This is early 70s, actually.
Oh yeah.
Philly
Local
band.
boys.
Yeah, Bang.
Yep.
And this was on Capitol Records.
Yep.
So, big label. It has a kind of a Sabbath-y vibe to it.
I love
Pretty
that
straightforward, but heavy riffing. They were a 3-piece. I think they released maybe a couple albums. I think this is their first one, and I think they released like 1 or 2 more, and they never really took off or anything. But they were on a big label, so a lot of these bands from this era that were kind of like this, they were on unknown labels, or they just released stuff like those records I showed earlier, that Horse record, and they were released on unknown labels or never released on anything. So, but these guys were on Capitol.
I see that album and I always think of Sir Lord Baltimore.
Yeah, they're in the same thing. Like, when people talk about proto metal bands, usually the first bands that come up are like Bang, Sir Lord Baltimore, Captain Beyond. Those are like the three biggies.
The first Lucifer's Friend. The first Lucifer's Friend is what got me digging into 70s proto.
Yeah, that's a really good album.
Yeah, those are the bands I always say, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would describe those.
That's a serious rabbit hole. Like George and Laz probably remember, I was down that for a few years.
Oh yeah.
All the 70s,
yeah, all the stuff I could find.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some awesome stuff, man. So much I've forgotten. Now, John, have you come across a Karma pressings, that label? For a lot
I have a few things from them. Yeah, they release a lot of that heavy 70s stuff.
Awesome stuff. What you got, George?
I had 2, but I'll pick one. I couldn't find it, but mine was the first record on Columbia in '89 or '90 from the band Johnny Crash.
Oh yeah,
it was called Neighborhood Threat, I believe.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
I always liked that record because to me they were like a poor man's Junkyard kind of vibe to them, maybe a little AC/DC kind of thing, but. I always liked that record a lot. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they did record a second album, but it wasn't released until like 15 years later on some reissue label.
What was on the cover of that? I can't.
Was it a junkyard dog? Or
like a cartoon type of drawing or something, I think.
Yeah.
I know it's on vinyl. I have it on vinyl, and I like that record, but, it was one of those that came out during the fucking height of they signed every band with long hair.
Yeah.
So it didn't do much, but
that's good.
I always liked that record, yeah. My second one, just as a fucking honorable mention, is the Kix's Show Business. That record.
That wasn't really major label there, was it? That was CMC.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Well, Hotwire, I guess, would be the same for me. Hotwire was another great record that.
You know me, any Kicks, man.
Yeah, but I always appreciated Hotwire and that Show Business. I wish would get a fucking vinyl reissue, but
big time, man. I would love.
It's coming. Everything was getting fucking dude. If we got the Rods Rock Hard and the Sabotage, eventually someday that'll pop up.
But dude, even that Kick CD is like what, $60-$70 now?
Is it really? Holy shit!
It's never been reissued, as far as I know.
No, never.
And
I know, like Rock Candy was supposed to reissue Hotwire a couple years ago, and it never happened.
Yeah,
they're reissuing the first 2 Britney Fox records actually this week.
That's cool.
But again, I don't know what the deal. We're still trying to figure out how we can release Bite Down Hard as an official reissue and vinyl, but
well, I don't know. Kix has been doing their own and like remaster.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do the fucking Hotwire and Show Business, but
the 2 they've done so far, what they did, Midnight Dynamite and
Blow My Fuse.
Yeah, and they sound fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
Blow My Fuse, that was their big one, right? That's what I remember being their big one.
Yeah,
that was the one that broke them on MTV. Yeah.
Well, I'll go next, and if you highlight Bit Bop Boom,
That one, there it is. Yeah,
Definitely pulled that, man.
That's
you guys
funny,
ever heard
man.
this?
Yeah, that's funny. I just bought that on vinyl like less than a year ago.
Awesome band.
I've had it on CD forever. But
George, which one did you get? Did you ever notice that there's a 2 LP set?
I got the 2 LP,
and then there's a single.
I had no idea about the single. No,
yeah, I don't know why they did that, but they cut it in half.
Yeah, I have the 2 LP one.
Now I have never heard of this. What are we looking at here, Greeno?
It's kind of like late 80s.
They were
late 80s. They were
being taunted as the next fucking Guns N' Roses, from what I remember.
Well, actually, they weren't the next Guns N' Roses. They were like the competitor of Guns N' Roses. And this is on Geffen, same as Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
they signed both bands. And
I swear I've never heard of these guys.
The story is they sent these guys to Nashville to record and just stranded them there while they worked on Guns N' Roses and put their album out. And these guys just got fucked over, basically. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
there's a book to be written.
And that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's Johnny Depp was in that band pre that record.
Yeah, he's not on the album or anything, but he was part of them to begin with.
I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, he gets a songwriting credit on that record.
He may very well, yeah. But it's kind of like a bluesy hard rock thing. Just kind of
a cool record.
Yeah. It's very much worth checking out.
But I remember when they started running ads for that mag and like Hit Parader and Circus and Metal Edge was like taunting them as the next big Guns N' Roses, the next thing.
Yeah, but if you go read about them, if you read about them, supposedly they were signed at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sent them off just to kind of get them out of the way. And put it.
Wait, what year did that one come out?
I think it's like 87.
Is it? Is it that early?
88.
Because I know they recorded a record prior to that one that was reissued on CD.
That was kind of indie done, I think.
Was that or something? That was before that material, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Bit Bob Boom says, Johnny Depp gets a credit.
Yeah.
So, they're totally worth checking out if you.
I will. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Well, you got another one last?
Yeah. So, all right. So, other than the Fleetwood Mac and the Boston, everything I've shown is 1986. That Le Mans was 1986. Mm-hmm. This next one is 1986. Like I said, this is strictly by chance. I didn't plan that. But this next one, I'm a fan of the band. I've always been a fan of the band. The album that came out before this is my favorite album by the band. When this album came out, I absolutely hated this record. Hated it. I actually really like this record now. But this record got a lot of shit and never gets talked about. Never gets talked about. Its biggest hit was a cover song. But Crocus, Change of Address.
That's where they kind of lost me around that era. I even liked Midnight Dynamite or Midnight Maniac.
Yeah, that's my favorite record, The Blitz. It's Crocus, The Blitz. That was the one before this.
Yeah.
Most people love, like Headhunter and
One Vice at a Time.
One Vice at a Time, Metal Rendezvous, but The Blitz was always my big record. I lots of stories with that record. But then they dropped this, and it was like, they did School's Out by Alice Cooper. They did a cover of that, and that kind of got some airplay. I think he even had a video for that. And the first song on here, Burning Up the Night, it's just weak as shit. But over time, this record really kind of grew on me, and actually kind of deserves more kudos now than I think I used to give it. I used to just dog the hell out of this record.
That's one of those albums from the era, like if you can show the back, when all the MTV metal bands was going to the same tailor or something.
Yeah.
Or that's not quite as bad. Maybe it was the Blitz where they had the Dokken looking outfits.
Yeah, that was the Blitz.
Yeah.
Except Starachi went, you got a fucking grandma perm.
Oh yeah.
I was off the Crocus train before that album. I had I had exited stage left.
I actually prefer the last Crocus album, like they did a few years back.
Yeah, they're full on AC/DC now, right?
Yeah, that's why I like it.
Now, what was after that one? Heart Attack? Was that?
Yeah, Heart Attack was after this.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
I remember. I think didn't that come out the same?
Listen to this in a long time. Go give this a listen.
I might have to. It's been a long
Pay it a
time.
visit.
I kind of remember Heart Attack and fucking Twisted Sister Love Is for Suckers coming out the same day.
Oh,
They're kind of the same record.
that's a good
And I remember like
pick one of these bastards.
I bought both of those bastards like the day they came out, and I kind of remember listening both back to back on what the fuck. I just wasted $20 or whatever it was back.
They highlight Aaron's question there. I don't have those. I have them on CD.
Yeah, I have them on CD.
They're not for me. They weren't very.
You know what
And I find it very highly offensive to be called a bozo.
Those two records are pricey, man.
Cancel culture.
Do you have one, right?
No, but this is worth showing. But so this is my One Vice at a Time test pressing.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Cool.
Got the little notations on the label there from the label, I guess.
That might be a topic for a future show is test pressings, if anybody has any.
I have an Aunt Murray one.
Of course you do.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know if I even have any test pressings, man.
Oh, I love test pressings, man. That's the fun stuff to try and hunt and find.
I have a couple. Hey, what do you got, John? What's your next one?
All right. Swedish band.
That's cool.
220 volts.
Oh,
This was actually out on Epic Records.
Wow.
So this was a big release for them. This is 89, I believe. They had released a couple records before this, but they were more like kind of early 80s traditional metal sounding. And I guess maybe the influence of being on a major label, they turned into kind of like a melodic rock, bordering on hair metalish type of thing, slickly produced and everything. Catchy songs and all that, but the earlier 220 volt stuff is a little bit more, classic, traditional metal type of stuff. But it's just kind of surprising that somebody at Epic Records wanted to take a chance on them. And, the song sounded like some of these songs could have been on MTV or something like that, or could have been on the radio. But by 1989, the whole market was oversaturated with stuff like this. And if you were a fan of any of their older stuff, I'm sure everybody hated this because it was just a big kind of sellout. But just amazing that Epic Records would have taken a chance.
They remind me of Europe and the same deal. The first couple of Europe albums were more metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Final Countdown,
Oh.
Yeah, these first two Europe albums are.
Yeah, I was just going to say the first couple of Europe albums are just stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar records.
And I like the first couple 220 volt too. Yeah.
That was a good one, John.
Yeah. I haven't listened to them in so long.
Next one I got, what did this come out on? RCA. And I've talked about this album before. Circus of Power. The first album.
I do remember you talking about that.
This is like the most awesome biker hard rock.
Yeah, it's a 1980s Gods record.
Yeah.
Late 80s Gods. I mean, don't you think?
I think they're way better myself. Gods are cool, but this is like the coolest, sweatiest, cranked up Les Paul Marshall sound stuff. And I saw him open for on the next album, I think it was Vices on opening for Faith No More.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they were just awesome. So I'm gonna.
What was that singer's name again?
That's what they kind of look like too, actually.
Alex Mitchell.
Alex Mitchell, yeah.
No, they're kind of all tatted up, and I mean they look like they work in a garage. Yeah,
I like that record.
Yeah. Vices, the next album's cool, but not quite as bad. And I mean, it's just a total New York.
Yeah.
Thing. But another it's kind of overlooked, and if you ever come across that cheap, man, that's totally worth picking up.
Wow. Aaron said that's like the ultimate Greeno album.
It is. That's a top 10 album for me. I definitely love that. I've talked about it many times. Them and Warrior Soul. I love both those bands.
Wow.
Yeah, they were in the same vein as like the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, it was just kind of straight ahead rock.
Yeah.
These guys had like a groove to them, man. It was just like something really cool.
Four Horsemen are still, man, there's 2 records they did. What was it? Shit, man. Drawing a blank. Rockin' Is My Business and Business Is Good was their second record. I love that record. And the first one is Nobody Said It Was Easy. And there was an EP before that, but
I think we've talked about them before. I need to check them out more. I know you were a huge fan.
I love the Four Horsemen. And then if you go on their website now, the one guitar player, Dave, he sells all the shit on there. You know, you can get the first album on like a double vinyl from him.
Yeah.
And then the rest are all CD remasters with bonus tracks and stuff. And I think he ended up releasing an unreleased Four Horsemen record with a different singer.
Aaron, if you pull that album out, you gotta crank it up. It's not one of those albums you can just kind of put on and listen to. The louder it is, the better it is. Maybe you'll get it this time.
Yeah.
What do you got, Laz?
This is the last one that I pulled, and because this one is an important one to me. Actually, this is I'm going to get a lot of shit for this probably. I know in the fandom for this band, this album kind of gets the shit, but it's actually in my top 3 favorite albums of the band, and I will defend this album till the day I die. But
is it The Elder?
No. No, it's along the same lines. Blue Oyster Cult Club Ninja.
Yeah,
there's some cool stuff on that.
And this one's 1985, but I love this album. I've always loved this album. I loved this album when it came out. I bought it new, and this was one of those albums where I bought it new, ran home, started playing it. It stayed on the turntable for a month, and I just bonded with the record,
I like that album. That I always think of that album. And what's the other one? Imagino.
Yeah, Imaginos.
Yeah,
I love Imaginos. That's also in my top 3 BOC: Fire of Unknown Origin, Imaginos, and Club Ninja. Those are my top 3 records. And to BOC fandom, that's kind of like sacrilege. Okay? Fire of Unknown Origin for sure, but these other 2, most of the fans do not like these records or consider them that well off. But I love both of them very much. In fact, I have actually kind of a rarity. Let's pull it out here. This is actually still sealed in the shrink wrap. This is the CD long box.
wow, cool.
Wow,
nice.
I've just bought it, found it, bought it, and I've never opened it. Just kept it in the shrink. But yeah, love this record. And every song on it. There's been a lot of the fans love this track on here, Perfect Water. Musically, it's probably the best written song on here, but I've always loved this record. So, and it doesn't get talked about unless it's being shit on,
Yeah.
So.
What you got, John?
That was all I had. I had 2. So
all right, I got a couple more here. Here's one for George. I remember when this came out and everybody was like, "What?"
I love it. Yeah, to me, there's some great stuff on that record. The production's complete shit, but
nobody talks about this anymore. You know what I mean?
I know.
You know what? I'll take Fly on the Wall over Flick of the Switch.
Really?
Oh, no way.
man, I love
No.
Flick of the Switch.
Now,
Here we go.
My gloves are
now
off.
we got a problem. Now we got a problem.
Those two albums kind of go together, though. I mean, it makes you think of the other one, right? It does me.
No,
Those two
for me,
albums kinda
Flick of the
came out.
Switch is way better.
Yeah,
Not
Flick
so
of
much sound wise, but I remember those two albums coming out and they didn't have really big impact.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they had burnt themselves out.
Yeah.
Vance understands.
What a lot of people don't realize with AC/DC, you know, is here in the U.S., Back in Black came out. Then they released Dirty Deeds in the U.S.
Right.
Then For Those About to Rock came out. So in the span of 2 years, they had 3 albums out.
Yeah.
Then they did 74 Jailbreak was mixed in there too. So by the time you got to Flick of the Switch and Fly on the Wall, you know, they were just
oversaturated.
Yeah, they oversaturated.
Yeah.
They had just sort of burnt themselves out.
But I'll stand by Flick of the Switch. Dude, that album's my favorite Brian Johnson record.
I did a video on my channel in defense of Flick of the Switch. It's the power age of the Brian Johnson era.
Absolutely, yep. There's so many good riffs and songs on that record, man.
You know, I was not a big fan of as a kid after having Back in Black and then For Those About to Rock when they come out. I was totally let down by that album. But I freaking love that album.
That's basically where I'm at, Greeno. That's kind of what happened with me. It was that
if they would have here's like one of the dumbest things that I could probably say that would have made a total difference in that record. If they would have switched sides, Flick of the Switch. If they would have started off the record with Guns for Hire instead of
Rising Power,
yeah, it would have. I think it would have sucked in a lot more people from the beginning than Rising Power did. Rising Power was such a slow opener for an AC/DC album.
But what did you guys think of For Those About to Rock when it came out back then? It was like a letdown for me.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And
I freaking love
one
that.
That actually kind of like what George is saying. That one I think opens perfectly. That's the way that album is set up. I think is perfect. I love For Those About to Rock.
Well, they tried the same mid-tempo opener for Flick of the Switch, and it did not work. They should. I still swear that's why they opened their tour with Guns for Hire. That tour. And that's what they should have opened the album with. It's such a dumb move
to not open.
Yeah, Guns for Hire. It's in your face. It's a fast, quick, kind of upbeat AC/DC tune. You know, to try to roll off the mid-tempo thing at the beginning of an album again when it worked for Those About to Rock. For Those about Rising Power is nowhere near quality-wise For Those About to Rock. That track itself is. It's just those two songs are, you know, For Those About to Rock's the A side. Rising Power is like a demo that should have been on, you know, left off of that record or something. You know what I mean? But to open it with Flick of the Switch was dumb. Really dumb move.
I got 4
more. Let me ask
more.
You guys this real quick because we're talking about legendary AC/DC records. How are you sitting with Power Up now?
Oh, I still love it. I think it's better than the last. It's better than Rock or Bust. The only problem I have with it, listening to it more, I could tell it was pieced together. And when I say that, I mean like Pro Tools, big time.
Yeah. With the background vocals, you really hear that. There's all these like, you know, cut and pasted background vocal things. I like it. It's better than Rock or Bust.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I loved Rock or Bust. The new one didn't really catch me.
I think out of the latter albums, my favorite is still probably Black Ice.
That was a great record.
But Power Up to me, it actually started for me kind of. I mean, I was all excited to get it. Spun it a couple times. I think I was trying to digest a little too hard. Walked away from it for a while. About a month later, went back, started spinning it again, and fell in love with the record.
Yeah.
So
maybe I need to go back to it.
There's a track towards the end called No Man's Land. That's the best. I personally think the best track on that record. It's just like a Aussie, stomp kind of track. It's just a really good song. They probably won't play it live.
I got 4 more. Run through them real quick. I guess everybody else is done, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's all I had pulled. So
I got Warrior fighting.
Oh, that's a great record.
Yeah,
great record.
Just one of those kind of forgotten deals.
That actually got reissued, I think, too.
Oh, really? On vinyl?
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm
that's
pretty
cool.
sure. Yeah, I saw that somewhere too.
Kind of same kind of deal.
Yeah.
Alice in the beginning.
Yeah.
I loved this band at the time, man.
Yep.
Weren't they in that? God damn it, dude!
They had three or 4 records, I think.
2. And did they have an EP? I think that's all they had. They may have had more after that.
Weren't they in that movie Big?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Were they? The Tom Hanks flick?
It's one of those flicks where the adult becomes a kid and the kid becomes an adult, and it's either that one or there was one with Judge Reinhold. God damn, don't ask me why I remember that. But there was a movie in Malice. They went to a Malice concert in the movie.
I'm not sure, dude.
Yeah,
I'll go back and look.
Yes, the movie is with Fred Savage. This guy, Grown Man Record Night.
Bananas.
And Judge Reinhold. Bang. See? I told you. I know my movie. I know my cheesy movies.
No, speaking of cheesy movies, I just watched this today.
Ah, is that finally reissued? Is that on the Scream Factory?
RLJE Films.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Anyways, I got 2 more. I'll just show it.
Vice Versa. That was the movie. Yeah, Malice is in that movie.
I think this is an awesome album. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Everything after this, not so much.
Yeah.
But this album I thought was freaking solid.
You remember, how I look at that, Greeno, is the first 2 Bon Jovis are like the first 2 Def Leppards, and then Slippery When Wet is like the Pyromania.
Yeah.
And then after that, fucking forget it.
Do you guys remember, like, in all the magazines, how they advertised the hell out of this, man? You had no idea who Bon Jovi even was, but there was just ads everywhere for this album.
Yep.
And I remember picking it up, and it was like not what I expected, but I dug it. It was, I don't know. I still think it's a good album. And we've already talked about this band, but the debut.
That's a great record.
Fuck yeah, man. I love this album. Power Lover. This is one of the greatest tracks ever recorded. I love that song. But that's the ones I had.
Nice.
Holy crap, we're at almost 2.5 hours, guys.
Nice.
Shit. Typical Mancave of Doom. 2.5 hours feels like about 40 minutes.
Well, we've been gone for a while, so
rabbit holes, man.
Yeah. We've been gone for a little while, so might as well do it.
That's great stuff tonight, man.
Yeah, this was great, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wish I could have found that Johnny Crash LP. It's upstairs in the other room, so.
In the other music room?
Yeah. I thought it was anyway. I got too much shit.
Anybody got anything coming up?
I
know, John, you said you got the podcast banging now, right?
Yeah, I just started this podcast. Spotify has a thing now where if you use it's a company called Anchor as your podcast host, they are associated with Spotify, and what it allows you to do is you can play full songs in your podcast and not have to worry about copyright issues. So the podcast is sort of acting like a companion to my YouTube channel. You know, I had a poll on my YouTube channel where people voted on singers from their favorite singers from various bands like Black Sabbath and Rainbow and stuff like that. So then I made a podcast, put the video up, made a podcast episode where I talk about a little bit, and I picked one song from each one of the singers who won. And I did a Judas Priest podcast where I took some songs from the set list, you know, talk, play a song. And because it's through Spotify, it's, you know, you don't have to worry about copyright things. And this Anchor website is extremely easy to use. I mean, it's just like can knock the podcast out in like no time at all. So it's something pretty cool that I'm excited about.
Nice. So do you record them beforehand and then upload them, or it's not something you're doing live?
No, because it works with Spotify. You go to Anchor, they just have a button where you record your audio. You can sort of then line it up. You pick the song you want to put in. You say add to episode. Next audio clip. Okay, that was Invader by Judas Priest, and now another song they played was Free Wheel Burning. Stop the recording, put that audio in the episode, ad free. You just type it right in, Free Wheel Burning plus adds it in, and you just go right through it. I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's super, super easy. And then you submit it. They have to review it. Takes about 10 minutes, and it's up on Spotify.
Huh.
Wow.
George, that's something I was thinking. You should take all the Mancave of Doom episodes and throw them up on just as audio podcasts too.
Yeah. I'll have to look into it and see what we can do.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Rolling in the money.
Yeah.
Or in jail. One of the
making that mad YouTube money.
Well, I remember back in the day, I got a notification that like they had some check they were going to cut me for YouTube money or something, and I was like, oh my god, what? Really? I made some money on this, and I never saw it. They said they were going to send it. I never saw it.
Probably a scam.
Like, that's exactly what I thought. It's probably BS, but
dude, that's like that video I asked you about where you had the Goodwill find. You had 134,000 views on that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my Genesis videos had quite a few at one, there for a while too. But but that was back. You got to look too. That was back when, it was all this was pretty new.
Yeah, when the VC wasn't as big as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I still do that. I go out and try and look around. And it's like, God, I have no idea who these people are anymore.
They're not like we talked about this before. They're not fucking record collectors. They're YouTubers.
Yeah, that's why it was cool finding John, man.
Yeah,
I got with Laz. It's like, you got to check out Larry the Alchemist, man.
Like a lot of them you watch, and it's like, okay, they're just YouTubers. They're not record collect. They don't really talk music. They just say, "Oh, this is this," and I picked this up there. Oh, good.
But is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing what we do, and was immediately attracted to John as we're talking music, not just
And like we were talking earlier, I said, I like how I prefer the guerrilla style videos, just to do with the camera, turns it on and goes. It's not all edited and a bunch of bullshit and sparkles and everything. So,
I like how Aaron, Metal Theologian, always used to say, "Hi guys." You ever see when he talk about what was it? Vinylize, I think, is one channel.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about how to clean a record. Hi guys.
Those crack me up, man. I'll come across some of those. It's how to store your records, and it'll have like 300,000 views or something. It's like, what the hell happened, man?
Yeah.
All you got to do is how to store your records. Like that.
Put them on a shelf. Don't make them flat. Keep them out of the heat.
Yeah, it's
yeah, fuck that guy. He did this one video. My God, Aaron, if you remember the name of the video, let me know so I don't have to search for it. But there's one where he was like, the vinylized guy was like in a hospital bed or something. And you see this like revolver come in and like boom, blows him in the head or something. It was hilarious. I don't know how he did it. It was hilarious. I was laughing so freaking hard.
Now hold on. Vance just mentioned chromium dioxide radio. Of course.
Oh yeah.
He's on a whole other level, man. I mean, that dude.
I'm telling you, man, dude, it's the Metal Muppet Show. I love that shit, man.
Who is that?
Hey, friends.
Great.
That's the best. Oh,
Hey, have you guys seen it? Chromie D is doing some kind of comic book thing, man. That looks freaking cool. And he's making stickers and everything.
yeah, I saw something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that the
He's
Ultimate
got-
Sex Dungeon and
Yeah, he's got way too much talent to be hanging out with the likes of us. I'm telling you. All right, man. I guess we're about done because we're just bullshitting now. That's pretty good. It's all right.
oh,
that's beautiful.
oh my god, that's funny.
Wow, I think this is our longest episode, Green.
I think you're right. Definitely. And you're right. It seemed like about an hour.
Yeah,
My dogs are hating me, but oh well.
mine are all sleeping. Well, cool.
Well,
This
guys,
is a
thanks
good
for the
episode.
invite. I appreciate it. That was fun.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Definitely have to come back, John.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. It was a good
Thank you for the
time.
invite.
I
Definitely.
guess we'll see everybody next time. Hopefully, we're going to start doing them a lot more often now. So
Yeah, no, he's such a stranger, George.
Hey, somebody's asking the name of your podcast. Just to go ahead and repeat it there, John.
Oh, Layer of the Alchemist.
And you also do a Black Sabbath thing, right?
Yeah, my podcast is Layer of the Alchemist. My YouTube channel is Layer of the Alchemist, and I do a Black Sabbath podcast called Into the Void, a Black Sabbath podcast.
nice.
The Barbecutioner shows up right at the end.
Yeah. Well, he can watch the rebroadcast uploads.
You know, chromium dioxide, I've got to talk to him because, dude, if it's one thing that I've realized watching him is, you know me and D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and okay, and knowing that he's into that, I've got a lot of history with that. I do all my own, terrain building, for tabletop gaming and all that stuff. I'm sure we would just
Have
pair
you not
up
been
some
on?
discussion.
Have you not been on with him on here?
No, I've not been on with him, huh?
Oh, I was thinking you had. John, have you had a chance to check him out? Chromium dioxide? You should start with the first one and go through them.
You'll love it.
Then
You'll
drink
love
a couple beers
All
along the way. Smoke whatever you got because you might need it.
I'll write that down.
He's out there, man.
Oh, he came back up again. He's fucking stalking us.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. Hopefully, it won't be as long before we do the next one, and we'll see who we get on next time.
Yeah, man. We'll see you all real soon.
All right, guys.
Later.
Thanks.